Chapter 216, Chapter 216, Chapter 151, The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. _2, Chapter 216, Chapter 151, The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. _2 did by Bexenville. Siamacronim seeing this, Lu Yun's mouth curved slightly. Immediately after, he soared into the air, and a powerful storm with lightning burst at his feet, repelling the besieging demon beasts and causing them to fly backward. Next, his figure flashed, turning into a bolt of lightning. After several blinks, he rushed towards the great strength demon ape. At the same time, the massive body of the opponent also came towards him. The two rushed towards each other, rapidly closing the distance between them. Along the way, the great strength demon ape flung the black tiger army away like crushing ants. Lu Yun brandished his long knife, and with each slash, he took the lives of several demon beasts. One was a 4th-rank demon beast, and the other was a transforming origin realm martial artist. Anything trying to stop the two from fighting was swept away. When the distance between them finally closed, the white-scale purple-gold knife slashed fiercely, and the sharp blade light burst out, silently shattering the air and seeming to cut through the darkness. The great strength demon ape clapped its hands together, and the terrifying blade light was forcibly caught by it. Roar! With a furious roar, a powerful force converged on its arms, and the blade light shattered with a loud crash. However, a blood-red blade light instantly invaded it, the sound of the air being torn, and the sudden alert in its heart made it look up involuntarily, just in time to see the blood-red blade light filling its view. Roar! The great strength demon ape didn't think twice and punched heavily towards the falling blade light. The air violently exploded, as if being completely blown up by this terrifying fist. The blood-red blade light and the punch full of violent power collided in midair in an instant. Crack! The sound of steel being cut echoed. In the eyes of the other black tiger army and demon beasts, they saw the thick fist of the great strength demon ape being cut directly. The blood-red blade light in the dark night quickly extended, and the pupils of the surrounding black tiger army and demon beasts were all filled with the blood-red light, as if time had fallen into a brief stagnation. A moment later, all the blood-red light converged at once, condensing on a long knife. Even the remaining light in the darkness was absorbed in an instant. Then, the vision sank completely into darkness. Roar! A wail erupted suddenly. When the faint light reappeared, the head of the great strength demon ape had been blown off, and its headless massive body stood on the spot, with its strong arms in an attacking posture. However, not long after, a gentle breeze blew, and it collapsed with a loud thud. A 4th-rank demon beast was killed with one slash. Is Lu Yun's strength so strong? The surrounding black tiger army showed shocked faces, and their eyes were filled with an incredulous look. As for those demon beasts, their hearts were filled with an intense fear. Seeing Lu Yun, their massive bodies couldn't help but tremble violently. Demon beasts might be fierce, but it doesn't mean they don't have brains or fear death. When they encounter powerful demon beasts or invincible martial artists, they would also feel desperation. Now, Lu Yun, who had killed the powerful great strength demon ape with a single slash, was an insurmountable existence in their eyes. Facing such a powerful Lu Yun, the demon beasts were afraid, but the other black tiger army found an opportunity. Kill! Under Lu Yun's deterrent, the nearby demon beasts were quickly defeated. Behind him, the corpse fell heavily, but Lu Yun never looked back. He stood holding the knife, and the ground beneath his feet gradually became soaked with crimson blood. After killing the great strength demon ape, he didn't bother with the low-level demon beasts around him. His eyes swept over the battlefield, searching for the elusive shadow leopard. It didn't take long for his eyes to narrow, focusing on a spot 150 m away. "Found you." Lu Yun grinned, revealing a slight smile. From the size perspective, the shadow leopard was also a fourth-rank demon beast, much smaller than the great strength demon ape. However, the strength of a demon beast does not depend on its size. Just by size, the wind-flow silver winged wolf that was fiercely battling Wang Ying, who was smaller than these fourth-rank demon beasts, but it was a more powerful fifth-rank demon beast, capable of refinement, possessing strong bone, and even speaking human language. From this, it can be seen that the strength of demon beasts is not entirely determined by their size. The shadow leopard, about 2 meters tall, had a streamlined body, and its fur was like black satin. When it ran, its body seemed like a phantom, making it impossible to discern its position. Especially in this dark night, it had become a terrifying hunter. Walking in the darkness, it was silent and deadly, and every time it bared its fangs, a soldier of the Black Tiger Army lost his life. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Without any words or hesitation, Lu Yun approached the opponent quickly. He had a feeling in his heart that as long as he killed this shadow leopard, his progress in slaughter conception would be significantly improved. After killing the early fourth-rank great strength demon ape earlier, his slaughter conception had improved by 1 level, and the shadow leopard was at least in the mid-4th rank. Feeling an intense killing intent approaching, a cold glint flickered in the ferocious eyes of the shadow leopard. As it turned its head, it saw a purple thunderbolt rapidly advancing. It carefully watched the white-clothed youth within the thunderbolt. As a terrifying hunter in the dark night, it could sense that the threat from this white-clothed youth was far greater than that from the other humans on the battlefield. This human cannot be defeated. The killing intent in the shadow leopard's dark eyes suddenly disappeared, and at the same time, its body shot out like a bolt, turning into a shadow and completely melding with the darkness. Chapter 217, Chapter 217, Chapter 151, The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. 3. Chapter 217, Chapter 151, The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. 3. Did by Bexenville. Siamacronem, the speed was too fast, and coupled with the excellent cover of darkness, Lu Yun lost track of the shadow leopard before he could catch up. Damn sneaky demon beast. Seeing the beast flee, without a fight, Lu Yun was immediately frustrated. So far, he had never encountered such a cunning and life-loving demon beast. It could be said that ale demon beasts were cunning. After sensing the powerful aura emanating from Lu Yun, they all chose to avoid conflict. These beasts were not like the energy-evolved beasts in the Flying Spirit Martial Academy's Myriad Phenomena Tower. No matter how powerful Lu Yun was, they would recklessly attack him without fear of death. While Lu Yun was complaining about how sneaky the shadow leopard was, his face suddenly changed, sweat broke out all over his body, and his heart contracted sharply. It dares to ambush me again. As soon as this thought flashed through his mind, Lu Yun had no time for other defensive moves, and could only swing the long saber in his hand toward his side. Although this saber strike did not have time to activate the aura origin, its powerful force, combined with the sharpness of the superior true artifact, was unstoppable for an ordinary fourth-rank demon beast. However, this time the attacker was the shadow leopard, the king of hunters in the dark. Each time it attacked with its claws, it meant certain death for its target. The shadow leopard's sharp claws hit Lu Yun's saber, and its body, like a shadow, violently grabbed at Lu Yun's right shoulder, unleashing a terrifying force that shattered his protective aura origin. Boom! As the protective aura origin shattered, Lu Yun's figure swiftly flew out. As a master of saber technique, Lu Yun activated his aura, origin, and force while recoiling, sending out a burst of saber light to slash at the shadow in the night. This saber strike was extremely powerful, and the shadow leopard didn't dare to resist it. Abandoning its continuous attack, it turned into a shadow once again, merging with the darkness. But having been tricked once before, how could Lu Yun be deceived again? While striking with his saber, his eyes never left the Shadow 7 leopard. Thinking of running away with a cheap advantage? It's not that simple. As he landed, Lu Yun sneered and reactivated his protective aura origin, riding the wind and chasing the lightning. The moment Lu Yun moved, he transformed into a bolt of lightning, instantly disappearing from his original position. Die! Lu Yun's long saber erupted with a surge of saber light, slashing at a shadow in the darkness. In the face of life and death, the Shadow 7 leopard's agile body, as if it was a flash of lightning, dodged as if its life depended on it, evading this powerful strike, and then rapidly accelerating, changing direction again and again, accelerating again and again. The Shadow leopard was in utter panic. It originally wanted to continue using its speed and illusion advantage to ambush Lu Yun, but it didn't expect that the latter would not only react quickly, but also have amazing speed. Now, it's focused solely on evading and trying to escape. At the same time, it regrets not escaping right away from Lu Yun's line of sight. The first layer of Wind Thunder Manual is still a bit slow. Lu Yun felt that his speed was insufficient. Although it was already comparable RO martial artists at the entry level of the Origin Fluid realm, there was still a gap compared to this Shadow Leopard. If it weren't for the fact that RHE Shadow Leopard needed to take time to dodge his attacks, it would have already escaped from his line of sight. From the current situation, this was still not the Shadow Leopard's maximum speed. Boom! The air itself seemed to distort as the Shadow Leopard's speed suddenly increased again, almost turning into a shadow. Thinking of escaping now. It's already too late. Lu Yun's eyes turned bloodshot, and a faint red Airflow 7 appeared around his body, engulfing the surroundings. Apparently, at this moment, Lu Yun had completely unleashed his slaughter conception. The killing intent surged out, and the Shadow Leopard in the darkness seemed to be subjected to some kind of suppression, slowing down its speed. Power and aura origin were both stimulated to their limits. Boom! The tip of the saber burst with saber light, tearing apart the air as the blood-red saber light cut through the curtain of night, slashing at the Shadow Leopard. The Shadow Leopard was greatly alarmed. Lu Yun's sudden burst of power took it completely by surprise, and the force of this saber strike made both its body and soul tremble. Under normal circumstances, it could dodge the strike with its speed. However, an invisible force enveloped it, making it unable to unleash more than 80% of its original speed. Roar! It let out a ferocious roar while desperately trying to escape. Hearing the roar of the Shadow Leopard, the surrounding demon beasts abandoned their targets one after another and came to support it. Lu Yun just smiled dismissively at this. Those demon beasts were immediately hit by a strong impact as soon as they came into contact with the crimson killing intent, trembling all over. The long saber, like a wriggling giant serpent, carried the blood-red light and slashed towards the Shadow Leopard. The Shadow Leopard sharply dodged, barely evading this terrifying strike, but its speed was still a little too slow. Whoosh! The saber mixed with the sharp light grazed the Shadow Leopard-esque gray and brown back. A wound appeared, and dark magical power flowed from it, healing the wound rapidly while blood flowed from it. Feeling Arechi intense pain in its back, the Shadow Leopard's dark eyes flickered with ferocity and madness as it stared at Lu Yun. Roar! Knowing that it could not continue to escape, and that it could not defeat this human with its strength, it began to call for even more demon beasts. Roar! 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 Chapter 218, Chapter 218, Chapter 151, The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. _4, Chapter 218, Chapter 151, The White Lotus Blooms, the 10 Directions Fire Domain, asking for votes and more readers. _4 Udded by Bexenville. Siamacronem roars of beasts resounded in the air, and soon demon beasts densely packed the surroundings. As his gaze swept across the demon beasts, a look of surprise appeared on Lu Yun's face. He had always thought that humans used numbers to bully others, but he didn't expect the demon beasts to have the same realization. However, this still won't change your doomed fate. With white flames flickering in his eyes, Lu Yun appeared exceptionally demonic while gazing at the slightly triumphant shadow leopard. Swish, swish, swish. As more and more demon beasts gathered, the shadow leopard's confidence grew, and the killing intent gradually became apparent in its dark eyes. Not good. A Black Tiger Army martial artist's expression changed instantly upon seeing Lu Yun surrounded by hundreds of demon beasts, including the shadow leopard. On the battlefield, the demon beasts dominated in both numbers and strength. Almost every Black Tiger Army martial artist struggled to kill the demon beasts, but they were ultimately no match for them. Lu Yun's pressure was greatly relieved after he killed a 4th-rank demon beast, causing a subtle shift in the battlefield situation. However, now that Lu Yun was deeply surrounded by the demon beasts, if an accident were to happen, there would be no suspense left in this battle. Thinking about this, the faces of every Black Tiger Army soldier and martial artist turned ugly as they were considering strategies to provide support. However, the demon beasts still had the upper hand in numbers on the battlefield, and no one could spare the effort to intervene. As for the top combatants, be it Wang Juanhao, Sun De, or Lu Zhong, they could barely fight on par with 4th-rank demon beasts, and supporting others was out of the question. As for the commander of the Black Tiger Army, Wang Yinghu, although he could match the Windflow Silver Winged Wolf in combat, that was all he could do. If he were to neglect this 5th-rank demon beast, the battle situation would easily become one-sided. Lu Yun, one believe your strength is far greater than what it seems on the surface. Looking back at their first meeting outside the military camp, Wang Yingwu recalled the hardly noticeable yet dangerous air he detected from Lu Yun. He was still apprehensive about it, and deduced that even hundreds of demon beasts attacking together would not pose much of a threat to Lu Yun. In the midst of his thoughts, the Windflow Silver Winged Wolf fluttered its wings, sending out 2 streaks of silver light that tore through the sky. In the dark night, the 2 streaks resembled silver wolves leaping and howling, causing one to shudder in fear. Kill! Wang Yingwu let out an angry roar, and as his black spear danced, True Origin condensed into 2 small spearheads, each of which released a lethal burst of energy. Boom, boom, boom. The flickering spear light and piercing silver light eventually faded in the darkness. Seeing that hundreds of demon beasts were approaching in haste, the shadow leopard's killing intent toward Lu Yun reached its peak. It suddenly leaped off the boulder and swiftly approached Lu Yun under the cover of darkness. The instant the shadow leopard launched its attack, the surrounding 100 demon beasts howled in unison and charged fiercely toward Lu Yun. White flames flickered in Lu Yun's demonic-looking pupils, and deep within his body, a fire seed trembled. The flame flowing through his bloodstream and meridians quickly condensed and circulated through his meridians, soon accumulating in his left hand. A wisp of white flame quickly appeared in his palm. In a mere moment, the wisps of white flame transformed into a white lotus-shaped platform, its fire flickering violently. The originally cold and still air around it was set ablaze, and the faint moonlight was swallowed completely. White lotus flame, bloom. As the white lotus appeared, Lu Yun pressed it on the ground with the back of his hand. In that instant, the white flame fully bloomed, sweeping in all directions. Soon, a white lotus-shaped fire domain formed within a radius of 10 jam. Blazing flames burned intensely, scorching heat evaporated everything, and a white glow swallowed it all. Roar, growl, one after another. The wails echoed and dispelled the layers of darkness. The shadow leopard, which was illuminated clearly by the white flame, had nowhere to hide. Chapter 219, Chapter 219, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second, Chapter 219, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second Audit by Bexville. Siamikron M. Rank Slaughter Conception. Lu Yun stood at the center of the White Lotus seat, the flames in his eyes burning even more intensely. Around him, the crimson current surged, his long sword slashing away, leaving Shadow Leopard without a chance to dodge, only to resist. Splat! The sharp claws and long sword collided, breaking with a snap. Die! Lu Yun advanced aggressively, his long sword cutting horizontally with a power that seemed to shatter heaven and earth. Shock filled the eyes of the Shadow Leopard, realizing that if it took another hit from that sword, it would be either dead or severely injured. The Shadow Leopard, who had hastily resisted moments ago and lost a foot in the process, couldn't begin to imagine the outcome of another serious injury, so it burst forth with a last-ditch effort at lightning speed. But now, Lu Yun's slaughter conception had exploded in full force, reducing the Shadow Leopard's speed and strength to 80%. Under these circumstances, how could it escape the range of Lu Yun's attack? His pure yang strong origin burst forth, filling his sword with its ultimate power, its aura blazing like blood, like the scorching sun. The body of the Shadow Leopard almost completely merged with the night. One could barely see a shadow. It had thrown everything it had into a life and death struggle, but it was all in vain. The outcome was decreed the moment it failed to escape right away, and instead decided to kill Lu Yun. Boom! The sword aura swept across, cutting the black night apart, hitting the hidden shadow. The speed of the long sword surged dramatically, broke through the void with ultimate force, creating the roar of a dragon. Squelch! The blade of the sword, diffusing sword aura, sliced through the astonished Shadow Leopard's neck. In an instant, the white flames were burning unceasingly, completely evaporating the surrounding air, swallowing the surrounding light, and causing a series of ceaseless screams and howls. The power of the White Lotus flame, which had already been elevated to the 3rd rank, completely surpassed Lu Yun's expectation. Even the 3rd rank demon beasts couldn't resist its terrifying power, which swept across a radius of 10 meters. However, it also consumed a lot of Lu Yun's strength. Just one attack like this used up about 10% of his pure yang strong origin. He had used less than 10% of his strong origin when killing both the 4th rank Great Strength Demon Ape and the Shadow Leopard earlier. The headless Shadow Leopard, its neck spraying ceaseless blood, stared at Lu Yun with its dreary eyes, struggled for a few moments with its strong losing life force, then finally lost its traces of life. The price for ambushing me is your death, my survival. Lu Yun looked at the headless body of the Shadow Leopard, shook his head slightly, grabbed his long sword, and walked out of the burning flames. These flames, to others and demon beasts, were devil's fire, which would burn fiercely on anyone they touched. But when it touched Lu Yun, it was like a merry sprite, leaping joyfully. As Lu Yun walked out of the raging flames, unharmed, the eyes of all the Black Tiger army soldiers were on him. The moment Lu Yun stepped out, the white flames gradually died out. The scorched bodies of the beasts and the headless Shadow Leopard abruptly came into everyone's view. The king of night hunting, Shadow Leopard, is dead. Hundreds of demon beasts also died. Seeing this, everyone's face was horrified, as if they had seen something terrible. A moment ago, they thought Lu Yun, who was surrounded by enemies, was sure to die. But the final outcome was hard for them to believe. Spiritual fire. The power of the spiritual fire far surpasses the second rank. Wang Yingguo, who was in a fierce battle with the wind-flow silver-winged wolf, managed to spit out these words under great difficulty. His shock was even greater than that of the dumbfounded Black Tiger Army soldiers. Second-rank spiritual fire could only be controlled by martial artists at the origin fluid realm level. He couldn't imagine that a more powerful spiritual fire would appear in a young man in the transforming origin realm. Also, launching an attack on this broad range, with power strong enough to instantly kill hundreds of demon beasts, was a cultivation technique beyond his comprehension. What's more, the huge energy loss caused by a cultivation technique like this would be terrifying. Even him, a battle-hardened commander of the Black Tiger Army, would have lost at least 30% of his true origin if he had launched such a wide-area attack. That's why, when faced with a horde of demon beasts, he usually chose to dodge, then strike back one by one. Such brutal aggression as Lu Yun's was a first for him. However, considering the rumors about Lu Yun and his abnormal strength, it all seemed expected. At this moment, Lu Yun, who had just killed hundreds of demon beasts and 2 fourth-rank demon beasts consecutively, felt a violent tremor from the crimson lotus seat in his sea of consciousness space, as it wildly absorbed the surrounding gray mist, as if something was brewing. He took a step forward. In an instant, the crimson current swept open, and countless sand and dust rose from the flat ground. Then, both the Black Tiger Army soldiers and the demon beasts, fighting fiercely around him, seemed to see something terrifying. Their bodies trembled violently, and they involuntarily backed away. Kill! Thunderbolts flickered under Lu Yun's feet, and his white-scale purple-gold knife broke through the air. Sword aura and endless killing intent swept around. Wherever the sword's light passed, blood swept across, and cries of pain filled the air. It was like a tornado sweeping across, and the demon beasts in the radius of several tens of meters fell one after another. This was an absolute slaughter. When the killing intent faded, the shocked, heavily injured Black Tiger Army soldiers finally came back to their senses. Wang Ying, who shook his long spear, fended off the attack from Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf and shouted loudly, "All Black Tiger Army, slay the beasts together!" Now, he had completely cast away the despair from just moments ago. The power that Lu Yun had exploded with had surpassed the category of the advanced transforming origin realm, and it even surpassed the average origin fluid realm. Chapter 220, Chapter 220, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second, Chapter 220, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second Audiobook by Bexenville. Siamacron M. rank slaughter conception _2 on this battlefield. The strength of any origin fluid realm cultivator or 5th rank demon beast was enough to turn the tide of battle. Such was the terror of top combatants. As if seeing the hope for victory, the glow of the black spear in Wang Ying's hand became even stronger, containing infinite power. The morale of a commander and the army's leader often determined the morale of the soldiers. With Wang Ying fighting so vigorously, the other Black Tiger Army soldiers were also infected, becoming more and more ferocious in killing their enemies. At this time, seeing the change in the situation, the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf was somewhat caught off guard. His side had an absolute advantage, and should have easily crushed the Black Tiger Army. However, due to the appearance of a single human, the situation began to subtly shift, which caught it by surprise. Seeing the increasingly brave opponents and the Black Tiger Army's humans regaining their fighting spirit, the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf exhaled and gave orders. "Don't panic. The human army is already exhausted. Just one more push, and we'll break them all. Victory is within reach." The words of the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf made the demon beasts even more fierce. At this moment, Lu Yun, like a terrifying beast, charged through the demon beasts, leaving a trail of blood wherever he went. His long knife, like a dragon's roar, collided and reaped one soul after another. Wherever the blood light enveloped, there were corpses everywhere. It was only a moment's work. Lu Yun had already reached the red flame demon beast. From the beginning, he had noticed its presence. Such a fire-breathing demon beast should have a fire seed in its body. If he swallowed it, would the spiritual fire within him be enhanced? With this thought, Lu Yun targeted the red flame demon beast. Not good. Seeing the blood-stained knife and the killing intent of the approaching Lu Yun, the red flame demon beast immediately felt uneasy. The great strength demon ape and shadow leopard had been defeated by him, and it knew it well, so it dared not to confront Lu Yun head-on and wanted to retreat immediately. Damn beast, stop! Feeling Lu Yun's rapid approach, Sun seemed to have injected chicken blood, ignoring his injuries, and tried his best to stop him. Killing intent boiling, the terrifying momentum was approaching rapidly, making the red flame demon beast's intention to retreat even stronger. A huge flame was ejected, temporarily trapping Sunda, while its body, full of turbulent flames, moved quickly to another location. However, a thunderous light swooped, and when it reached the first rank perfection, the entire slaughter conception burst forth, making the red flame demon beast fearful, as if a small mountain was pressing on its heart. This sudden scene made it both alarmed and furious, seeing the blood-red knife light falling from the sky. Trying to escape was no longer possible, so it could only fight with all its might. Roar! With a furious roar, the red flame demon beast's body swelled rapidly. Its flaming red fur stood on end like burning flames. Just as the knife light was about to fall, its huge mouth opened wide, like a volcanic eruption, and a giant fireball gushed out. Swish! The white-scale purple gold knife fell, shattering the scorching hot fireball instantly, and the remaining force of the knife light continued to fall from the sky. The red flame demon beast spewed out another pillar of fire to barely block the knife light, but the figure disappeared from its eyes. Whoosh, whoosh! Thunderbolt light flashed. Lu Yun's figure suddenly appeared to the right of the red flame demon beast. The knife fell, the speed reached its peak, and the power was maximized. The demon energy surrounding the red flame demon beast instantly shattered, and the knife blade fiercely crossed the red-haired fur, penetrated the flesh, and cut into the huge body of the red flame demon beast. Successful in one move, Lu Yun drew his knife back. His gaze once again fell on the red flame demon beast. At this moment, a faint trace of blood appeared on its neck, then quickly expanded, and its body and head separated. The huge corpse fell to the ground. The red flame demon beast was slain like this. Looking at the huge corpse not far from him, Sunda could no longer describe his state of mind with words. He knew that Lu Yun was very strong enough to slaughter third-rank demon beasts, as if slaughtering dogs, and even at the fourth rank, they would not last long under his knife. But with such a swift and lightning-fast move, he had slain a near fourth-rank ladder-stage demon beast. This terrifying explosive power and combat power were far beyond his expectations. Even Commander Wang may not be his opponent. Somehow, such an idea suddenly appeared in Sun Da's mind. "Captain Sun, leave this place to me. Go help the others." Lu Yun spoke, and Sun Da almost subconsciously nodded, glancing at Lu Zhong, who was fighting fiercely with the netherworld white tiger in the distance. Sun Da rushed to support. As for Lu Yun, after glancing at the surrounding demon beasts, he flew into the air and slashed horizontally. There was a streak of light in the air, like suddenly blooming snowflakes, which quickly turned into a streak of knife light that enveloped the surrounding demon beasts. In an instant, the demon beasts within the range of the knife light seemed to have been cut by some force, exploding, and blood was splattered everywhere. With this blow, almost a dozen demon beasts were slain. Seeing that there were no more demon beasts around, Lu Yun walked to the corpse of the red flame demon beast, and with a flick of his long knife, its abdomen was cut open. The beast-born fire seed was like the companion of the demon beasts, usually hidden within their core. Chapter 221, Chapter 221, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second Rank. Chapter 221, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second Rank Did by Bexenville. Siamacronim slaughter conception as the long knife slashed through its abdomen, opening up its entrails, aiming for its core. Soon, red and white were everywhere, and a fiery red crystal appeared before them. Feeling the violent energy on it, Lu Yun's eyebrow slightly raised. It's more appropriate to call this a beast core rather than a fire seed, right? Tossing it into his sumi bag, Lu Yun re-entered the battlefield. By now, the battle situation had reversed, but it was not yet decisive. He couldn't afford to delay any further. Moreover, through successive killings, his slaughter conception was rapidly improving. The battlefield was fertile ground for the rapid growth of slaughter conception. Looking at the ferocious and cruel demon beasts in the distance, a blood-red chi flow emerged around Lu Yun again. Today, one will raise my slaughter conception to the second rank. He had comprehended the slaughter conception at the limit of the Meridian Passage realm. Now he had already reached the middle stage of the transforming origin realm, but his slaughter conception was still hovering at the first rank, which was utterly slow. The nature of slaughter conception meant that aside from using energy to increase it, it could only be improved through massive slaughters. However, ordinary killings couldn't arouse Lu Yun's killing intent, let alone enhance his slaughter conception. Now, with the demon beasts invading Ling Province, it was an opportunity to thoroughly hone his slaughter conception. Thunder flashed, Lu Yun's state of mind became increasingly calm, but his eyes were filled with crimson, and his killing intent kept rising, as if it could pierce the night. At this moment, the ground shook. The roars of numerous beasts were heard clearly, and the battle cries of the Black Tiger Army echoed. This wilderness, not far from Cloudwater County, had completely transformed into a realm of slaughter. Ahead, two terrifying auras collided like torrents, violently crashing into each other. In an instant, the mammoth giant elephant stomped on the mountains and rivers, shaking the heavens and the earth with its bellow. Wang Juanhao was sent flying backward by the tremendous force, blood gushing from his mouth and nose. Among the 5 fourth-rank demon beasts, the mammoth giant elephant was the most formidable, having reached the peak of the 4th stage. After devouring many humans, it had advanced even further, barely approaching the peak of the 4th stage. Although Wang Juanhao was powerful, he was still far inferior to the mammoth giant elephant. Rip, the thick elephant trunk swung once again, and Wang Juanhao, who was flying in the air, had no way to dodge it and could only hurriedly lift his knife to block. Boom! The tremendous force fell upon him, his body sent flying like a ball, and his heavy armor shattered. Roar! The mammoth giant elephant charged, the ground shaking violently. Its thick trunk sent all the Black Tiger Army soldiers who tried to intercept flying away as it charged towards Wang Juanhao. Boom, boom. With each step it took, the ground quaked violently, as if stepping on Wang Junhao's heart, making him feel death drawing near. Watching the mammoth giant elephant approaching like a small mountain, Wang Juanhao struggled hard, but his already injured body couldn't muster any strength. Is Wang Juanhao going to fall here today? Thinking of this, his eyes were filled with unwillingness and the desire to live, but the huge foot still descended, about to crush him to pieces. Boom, boom. At this moment, a thunderbolt flashed, and Wang Juanhao felt a strong wind. Then his body was violently moved aside without his control. At the same time, A rumbling sound came from all directions, shaking the area and blowing up dust. Wang Juanhao, who had just landed, was once again sent flying by the powerful force. It hurts. Wang Junhao's heart immediately rose with such a thought, but compared to being crushed to pieces, what did this pain matter? Roar! Watching the attacker from ahead, the mammoth giant elephant roared furiously, with demon energy filling its huge trunk as it swung out. Boom, boom. The air exploded, and shockwaves swept in all directions. The surrounding demon beasts and Black Tiger army soldiers were hit by the powerful shockwaves, retreating or sent flying away. As the commander of the Black Tiger army, Wang Junhao's heavily injured body was once again flung backward by the powerful shockwaves, his shattered black armor stained with crimson blood. He swore this was the most embarrassing moment since becoming a transforming origin martial artist. At the same time, Lu Yun landed not far from the mammoth giant elephant. Not bad. Your strength is quite impressive. Gazing at the massive beast, he felt the fighting spirit surging within. That slash had just been a hasty attempt at assistance, not carrying much power, but it still hadn't caused much damage to the beast, showing its true strength. Roar! Feeling the faint pain coming from its trunk, the mammoth giant elephant roared furiously, its eyes crimson. Having exchanged blows earlier, Chapter 222, Chapter 222, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second Rank Slaughter Conception, Carrot. Chapter 222, Chapter 152, Continuous Killing, Second Rank Slaughter Conception, Carrot. Edited by Bexenville. Siomicron M. Clang. Lu Yun's figure flickered, appearing under the body of the mammoth giant elephant, slashing powerfully with his sword, pouring the blade's radiance into its abdomen. Scratch! A several-foot-long trace sprang up on its abdomen, blood gushing profusely. The pain caused the mammoth giant elephant to roar in rage again and again, furiously stomping its feet, its wild strength completely unleashed, causing the earth to tremble, raising dust and debris. Without saying a word, Lu Yun fully deployed his wind thunder manual. His astonishing speed resembled a bolt of lightning streaking across the darkness, appearing almost instantly behind the mammoth giant elephant. This swift strike landed on its tail before the mammoth giant elephant could regain its composure. Its terrifying defense could withstand an instant attack from an martial artist at the peak of the transforming origin realm, but under this one strike there was a spurt, and the thick flesh cracked open, splattering with fresh blood. The mammoth giant elephant, having taken consecutive heavy blows, completely lost control. The black demon energy on its body exploded, raising layer upon layer of dust on the ground, from which unexpectedly rose huge pillars of earth. As a demon beast that is extremely close to the peak of the fourth rank, its demonic energy was incredibly formidable, and its vitality was shockingly tenacious. Even after sustaining 2 heavy blows, it was still in its peak state. Thick-skinned beast. Lu Yun muttered to himself. Riding the thunder, his figure vanished again. Then a cold streak was approaching straight ahead. Having suffered successive heavy blows, the mammoth giant elephant was enraged to the extreme. Sensing the impending attack, it swung its massive trunk. This trunk swing was tremendously powerful, and the black demon energy filled the air. If it hit, even a demon beast of the same fourth rank would be injured. For martial artists under the origin fluid realm, they would at the least be heavily injured, if not killed. But the astonishing sword had already arrived before the elephant's trunk could get close. The feeling of cool freshness covered its body as the sword grazed its head. Immediately after, it felt a darkness descend on its right sight, followed by an intense pain attacking its brain. That's right. Although the last hit did not sever its head, it left a long scar on its tough skull, not even sparing its large left eye. Such incredible speed, such terrifying power. Wang Juanhao, gravely injured, was astoundingly shocked. when he was battling the mammoth giant elephant. He couldn't even get close. Even if he just managed to get close, he could not break through its defense. After one battle, no damage was inflicted on the mammoth giant elephant, whereas he himself found it challenging even to remain standing. Had not Lu Yun arrived just in time, he would have already been ground into meat paste under the elephant's feet. This terrifying demon beast, before Lu Yun, could only be at the receiving end, unable to retaliate. Moreover, its incredibly formidable defense under Lu Yun's sword seemed to have turned to tofu, easily penetrable. Roar. Having suffered severe injuries, and now lost an eye, the mammoth giant elephant plunged into deep fear and went on a total rampage. The demon energy inside its body exploded without limits, causing it to rampage violently. It, devoid of all sensibilities, whether it was a demon beast or the Black Tiger Army, was indiscriminately knocked flying or trampled into meat paste. Lu Yun, who had already appeared in front of the mammoth giant elephant, took a deep breath. Along the scar on its skull, the blade penetrated its head, causing brain matter to spray out. The terrifying blade radiance thoroughly shattered its vitality. He managed to kill the mammoth giant elephant, a creature close to the peak of 4th rank, so quickly. Several hundred yards away, Wang Yinghu, who was in fierce battle with the 5th rank demon beast, was utterly astonished. Demons beasts like the mammoth giant elephant, whose defense and vitality were incredibly potent, were even more terrifying than giant apes of the same rank. Even if the mammoth giant elephant, which was extremely close to the peak of the 4th rank, were attacked by him personally, he dared not assure that he could kill it. Now, however, it had genuinely fallen under Lu Yun's blade. This left him both astounded and thrilled. The 5th rank demon beast was completely blocked by him, and the 4th rank demon beasts were each being killed. Only a netherworld white tiger was barely holding on. Now, the tide of battle had completely turned, and the demon beasts were on the verge of defeat. Knowing this, the speed of his lance thrusts quickened. After the mammoth giant elephant's body thunderously crashed down, a message that suddenly appeared on the screen before Lu Yun caught his attention. Slaughter conception has advanced to the 2nd rank at 1%. Chapter 223. Chapter 223, Chapter 153, The Angry Lu Yun, Chapter 223, Chapter 153, The Angry Lu Yun Udded by Bexenville. Siamacronem, Slaughter Conception upgraded to 2nd rank 1%. As this message appeared on the panel, Lu Yun felt a drastic change occurring within his sea of consciousness. In the center of his sea of consciousness space, the blood-red lotus seat, rooted there had a petal that was blood-red to the extreme, as if blood was flowing through it. Amidst its mad sway, a surge of gray fog rushed in and was crazily absorbed and devoured. Gradually, the blood-red lotus seat began to tremble, and in the area adjacent to the first petal, a flower bud appeared abruptly. It began to stretch and bloom after continuously absorbing the fog within the sea of consciousness space. During the blooming process, it was as if a torrential slaughter atmosphere was rushing forth, as well as the sound of clanging metal and charging horses, followed by myriad beasts running and fighting each other. The ensuing slaughter and scene were enough to make anyone shudder involuntarily. The blood-red lotus seat represents the slaughter conception. Each petal represents a rank of slaughter conception. Now that my slaughter conception has advanced to the 2nd rank, the blood-red lotus seat is blooming a 2nd petal. It seems that my previous guess was correct. Lu Yun withdrew his mind from the sea of consciousness space, as there was no time for him to study further since the battle was still not over. After consolidating his mind, Lu Yun clearly felt that the slaughter aura lingering on the battlefield became even denser. Destruction and foreboding lingered in his mind, constantly stimulating and impacting his thoughts. broken land surrounded him, with countless scattered corpses and flowing blood that soaked the area in red. All, not far away, several Black Tiger Army soldiers were sent flying. Immediately after, a true Qi realm Black Tiger Army captain was brutally torn in half by a monstrous-looking demon beast, drenched in blood. After devouring numerous human martial artists' bodies and surviving multiple fights, this demon beast had finally broken through its bottleneck and became a fourth-rank demon beast. Roar, the light blue-skinned demon beast, with two short horns on its head, appeared exceptionally terrifying and ferocious as it couldn't control its demon energy proficiently since the breakthrough was recent. It grabbed the torn-in-half Black Tiger Army captain, putting him in its mouth, grinding its teeth ruthlessly, making the scene extremely bloody. Seeing this, the Black Tiger Army soldiers nearby showed no fear and charged in unison. Clang, clang, clang. One after another, their attacks landed on the demon beast, but they didn't even manage to leave a single scratch on its body. With its claws swinging, Black Tiger Army soldiers in black armor were sent flying. The demon beast quickly lunged at one of them, its sharp claws easily tearing through the thick black armor as if it were tofu. Splash! Blood splattered as the Black Tiger Army soldier was ripped to shreds. This scene was witnessed by Lu Yun as he charged over. Another demon beast is breaking through right before my eyes. A hint of crimson flashed through Lu Yun's eyes, and he quickly charged towards the fourth-rank demon beast without hesitation. Clank! Just as the demon beast with light blue skin and two short horns reacted to his presence, a gust of wind and a long knife with terrifying speed and power struck down. Plop! When the long knife connected with the fourth-rank demon beast, a bloody red airflow spread across the blade. Upon contact, the hardened skin was cut through as easily as cutting tofu, and the demon beast was sliced in half. As expected, after upgrading the slaughter conception to the second rank, the boost to my strength has increased once more. It was easy for Lu Yun to slay a fourth-rank demon monster before, but killing it with a single strike was somewhat difficult. Lu Yun cast a glance at the corpse beneath him and continued to kill other demonic beasts. With the addition of Lu Yun, the demonic beast's defeat became even more intense. One by one, as he killed one demonic beast after another, Lu Yun always kept an eye on the progression of his slaughter conception. Slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 3%. Slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 4%. Slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 5%. As the number of demonic beasts on the battlefield diminished, the upgrade of the slaughter conception slowed down. After killing nearly 600 demonic beasts, my slaughter conception has only advanced by 3 stages. The efficiency is somewhat low. Previously, killing a recently promoted 4th-rank demon beast had increased his slaughter conception by 2 stages in one go. With this comparison, it was definitely not cost-effective to kill low-level demon beasts. Lu Yun's gaze fell on the distant Netherworld White Tiger. Right now, the Netherworld White Tiger was being jointly besieged by Lu Zhong and Sunda, but only a few light scratches were visible on its massive frame, and its demon energy surged like a storm. "It's you, Traceless!" In an instant, Lu Yun had crossed several hundred zhang in the blink of an eye, as the wind and lightning flashed around him. Before Lu Zhong, Sunda, and the Netherworld White Tiger could react, Lu Yun had already covered himself in a crimson airflow. The white-scale purple-gold knife's blade rapidly extended with a blood-red color, and with a swift strike, he struck down the Netherworld White Tiger. As the attack was about to land, the black demon energy barrier shattered. The blade cut into the heart of the late 4th-rank Netherworld White Tiger, and the endless knife aura released instantly, crushing all its life force. Slaughter conception upgraded to second rank 8%. Almost at the same time, Sunda and Lu Zhong finally reacted. when they saw Lu Yun, who was standing beside the netherworld white tiger's corpse. Their bodies trembled slightly. At this moment, the killing intent surrounding Lu Yun had become increasingly dense. Great oppression and chilling terror could be sensed from afar. Chapter 224, Chapter 224, Chapter 153, The Angry Lu Yun _2, Chapter 224, Chapter 153, The Angry Lu Yun _2, edited by Bexenville. Siamikronem, how many demon beasts must have been killed in order to accumulate such a killing intent to this extent? Captain Lu, Captain Sun, the rest of the demon beasts are handed over to you. Lu Yun bowed and darted away, disappearing in an instant. Watching Lu Yun's swift departure, Lu Zhong shook off his shock and sighed. As expected of a true heavenly pride, Lu Yun alone is worth thousands of Black Tiger army soldiers. Sun Da shook his head slightly. With such combat power, if not for the battle array's aid, the thousands of Black Tiger army would have been crushed. Hearing this, Lu Zhong had no objection and just nodded. They all understood that the reversal of this battle was largely due to Lu Yun alone. Almost all of the fourth-rank demon beasts were killed by Lu Yun's blade. About a tenth of the low-level demon beasts were also slain by him. Now that Lu Yun is going to help our commander besiege the fifth-rank demon beast, the remaining battlefield is left to us. Let's go. Without the fourth-rank demon beasts, martial artists of the transforming origin realm had become the strongest force on the battlefield. Also, due to Lu Yun's rampage, the Black Tiger army now outnumbered the demon beasts, and the battle trend became one-sided. Boom! Darkness filled the sky, and at the center of the battlefield, a pitch-black light suddenly expanded, engulfing the surrounding hundreds of feet. Within this range, everything was destroyed. Its power was terrifying, and neither demon beasts nor the Black Tiger army dared to approach. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lu Yun's figure rushed to the scene, just in time to see a figure flying out of the dark light, blood oozing from the corner of his mouth, his spear dimmer than before. It was the Black Tiger army's commander, Wang Yinghu. The dark light faded away, and an extremely ferocious silver wolf appeared, its silver wings fluttering, and its shining silver fur stained with drops of blood. No one knew whether the blood belonged to the wolf itself or to Wang Yinghu. Ha! Worthy of a fifth-rank demon beast, you're quite powerful. Let's do this again. Wang Yinghu wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and gripped his spear tightly. The battle array around him flared up with an intense brightness once more. Besides its silver wings, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf had fine scales on its body and thick silver armor covering its head, resembling an impenetrable helmet. Its slit-like eyes glowed crimson, giving off a ferocious aura, and its claws were incredibly sharp, seemingly able to effortlessly cut through the still night air. I must admit, you did well to fight me for so long. The wind-flow silver-winged wolf licked its lips, and a strange voice emerged from its throat. As a forefront under the seven-tailed fox king in the Cloud Dream Mountain range, it was practically unchallenged apart from the sixth-rank demon beasts and some top-tier fifth-rank ones. After entering the Spirit Martial Prefecture, the wolf had torn apart and eaten an origin fluid realm Black Tiger army commander, making it even stronger. Now, it was confident that it could kill the human martial artist in front of it. Once it devoured him, its power would advance again. As for the lives and deaths of the other low-level demonic beasts, it didn't really care. But today, you won't be able to escape death. With its words, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf raised its claws, and a pitch-black demon energy gathered. Boom! With a swipe of its claws, dark light swallowed everything in front of it. Wang Yinghu couldn't afford to be careless, and the spear in his hand spun, creating layers of spear shadows. Thud, thud, thud. as Wang Yinghu shattered the black claws. The wind-flow silver-winged wolf's wings vibrated, turning into a silver light, tearing through the sky, and reappearing in another direction, attacking once more. Wang Yinghu had already found a subtle pattern to the wolf's attacks, but its speed was too fast, and its defense was incredibly formidable. For a moment, he was unable to do anything to it. However, now, a glint of light flashed in his eyes as he dashed below the wolf's abdomen. His body shot forward, and the spear in his hand swirled like a large, slithering snake. The wind-flow silver-winged wolf pounced at an incredible speed and force, unable to dodge the rotating spear aiming for its abdomen. At that moment, the wolf's body seemed to twist and bend like it had no bones, its claws gathering demon energy to strike at Wang Ying's fearsome spear, desperately avoiding a fatal blow. Boom! A powerful force struck the spear, the tip grazing the wolf's slightly softer abdomen and leaving a trail of blood. At the same time, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's other claw struck Wang Ying's body. Crash! The incredibly sturdy armor was instantly torn open, and the spear's protective true origin shattered. The sharp claws slashed across his body, leaving a terrible wound on his right shoulder. With its wings fluttering, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf hovered in midair, a 3-foot-long wound on its abdomen dripping with crimson blood. Its scarlet eyes were filled with madness and murderous intent as it stared at Wang Yinghu. "Too bad, you almost got me." Wang Ying's gaze held firm on the wind-flow silver-winged wolf, as if the terrifying wound on his shoulder had no effect on him at all. "But since you injured me, you'll have to pay the price." The wind-flow silver-winged wolf's wings vibrated, and circle after circle of black demon energy emerged from its body, forming strands of black light. Chapter 225. Chapter 225. Chapter 153. The Angry Lu Yun _3. Chapter 225. Chapter 153. The Angry Lu Yun _3 Udded by Bexenville. Siamikron and black light quickly enveloped its body, and gradually black rays of light emerged from within. Whiz, 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 whiz. Countless beams of black light erupted, as if pouring down like heavy rain towards the direction of Wang Yinghu with a thunderous crash. Seeing this scene, Wang Ying's smile disappeared. His expression turned extremely serious. He clenched his hands around the spear, spinning it rapidly in front of him. Intertwining spear lights formed a huge barrier. Then he slapped the spear shaft with his palm, and the barrier formed by the spear light suddenly rose and shielded above his head. Boom! Innumerable black rays of light shot down, colliding with the barrier. These black rays of light looked extremely slender, but each one that landed on the ground was powerful enough to blast a deep hole dozens of feet in depth. Ordinary, transforming origin, realm martial artists could not possibly resist for long. Wang Yinghu once again urged his true origin, reinforcing the black spear, barely maintaining the barrier. For a moment, both sides were locked in a temporary confrontation. Die! Lu Yun transformed into a lightning bolt, leaping up from the ground with an earth-shattering strike, slashing towards the long wound on the abdomen of the wind-flow silver-winged wolf. Huh! The wind-flow silver-winged wolf was alarmed. It's him? When did he get here? Previously, it had witnessed Lu Yun successively killing the great strength demon ape, shadow leopard, and various fourth-rank demon beasts. It understood that Lu Yun was a formidable enemy. Without any hesitation, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf abandoned Wang Yinghu, regathering its demon energy. Black light emerged around its body, emitting immense power, and spread out in all directions. At this moment, Lu Yun's attack was already coming. The blade light extended more than 20 feet, about to slash right at the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's abdomen. Die! Malice-filled Lu Yun's eyes. Plop! The powerful black demon energy defense shattered layer by layer as the blade light advanced continuously. Just as it was about to fall on the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's abdomen, two extremely hard claws slammed down, and the huge blade light began to shatter. Die! The blade light shattered inch by inch, but the trailing long blade followed with undiminished force, slashing fiercely. The chilling and sharp blade made direct contact with the equally sharp and hard claws. As if striking an indestructible boulder, sparks flew with a sizzling sound, and the immense power continued to pour out, but it could not break through. Die! Muscles bulged on Lu Yun's arms, his entire Buddhist strength poured out, and the light on the blade surged once more. Boom! The terrifying, explosive power from this confrontation sent the wind-flow silver-winged wolf flying backward. The manic blade light wreaked havoc on its body, tearing the wound on its abdomen wider, and bright red blood flowed once again. At the same time, Lu Yun's figure also retreated, stomping a deep hole several feet deep into the ground with a thunderous boom. This is the flesh of a fifth-rank demon beast. Shock filled Lu Yun's heart. My terrifying strike was actually unable to sever its claws. Hiss! The wind-flow silver-winged wolf flapped its wings. Floating high in the air, black light flickered. A faint bloodstain appeared on its thick claws, and the wound on its abdomen became even more terrifying. This human martial artist is much stronger than the previous one. I'm no match for them 2-1. A glint flashed across the wind-flow silver-winged wolf's huge eyes. Roar! It immediately let out a skyward howl, its demon energy becoming more turbulent, its aura growing increasingly menacing. With each flap of its wings, the surrounding light began to warp. It looked down on Lu Yun and Wang Yinghu from high above, its eyes filled with intense killing intent. Humans, I will tear your bodies apart, then slowly devour you piece by piece. As it spoke, it opened its blood-red mouth, revealing sharp, cold, gleaming fangs, and let out a horrifying roar that caused even the space to tremble. Boom, boom, boom. The powerful sound waves spread in every direction, bringing forth a tumultuous storm. Visible ripples appeared in space. This enraged roar was like a volcanic eruption, possessing terrifying power that a mere origin-fluid realm martial artist's body could not withstand. The moment the roar exploded, Wang Yinghu's expression changed drastically, and he rapidly retreated. Even Lu Yun dared not be careless. He immediately stimulated his aura origin and added the second rank slaughter conception to the white-scale purple-gold knife. With the support of his conception and aura origin, the blade light burst forth. The sound waves spread out in a fan-shaped pattern. By the time they reached Lu Yun, their power had already diminished by a third. The long blade slashed vertically, and the blade light extended out, splitting apart the incoming sound wave. The raging storm that swept in from behind was also cut apart in the process. Huh! Lu Yun frowned, realizing that the demon energy-infused wind-flow silver-winged wolf was no longer in the vicinity. His gaze swept the surroundings as his heightened senses simultaneously erupted, but he found no trace of movement nearby. Oh no, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf has escaped. Just as Lu Yun was cautiously on guard against any imminent danger that could emerge around him, he suddenly heard Wang Yinghu's voice. Escaped! Lu Yun couldn't believe his own ears. Previously, such a spectacle had been created, and it was evident that it had entered a frenzied state. A fierce battle was imminent. But in the end, it turned out to be an empty show of force. Thinking of this, Lu Yun's heart was filled with intense anger. He had been played by a vile demon beast, and couldn't help but feel furious. Humph! Don't even think about escaping. Lu Yun sheathed his knife, and wind and thunder flashed beneath his feet. Transformed into a thunderbolt of light, he chased after it. Don't chase after a desperate enemy. Upon seeing Lu Yun pursue the enemy, Wang Ying's expression changed, and he shouted loudly, "One swear not to rest until one kill this demon beast." In the darkness, a faint voice came, and the lightning bolt that represented Lu Yun disappeared into the night. Wang Ying could only let out a small sigh. Chapter 226, Chapter 226, Chapter 154, 5th rank demon beasts destroyed, late stage of transforming origin realm. Chapter 226, Chapter 154, 5th rank demon beasts destroyed, late stage of transforming origin realm added by Bexenville. CM after the Windflow silver-winged wolf escaped, the remaining demon beasts lost their backbone and were no longer a threat. Moreover, with the 5th realm martial artist Wang Yinghu now free to join the battle, the fight was over with little effort. Huff! Wang Juanhao stood with his saber, panting and gasping for breath. His face was pale, and his body was in pain as if being pricked by needles. He walked over with the support of a few black tiger army soldiers. "We finally won." He looked at the dead bodies and the few remaining black tiger army soldiers with a bitter smile. Although they had won the battle, it was a costly victory. From their initial 5,000 strong black tiger army, only a few hundred soldiers remained. Out of the 3 commanders, 2 were injured, and 1 was crippled. Less than 100 other martial artists were left. Yes, in the end, we still won. We not only defended Cloudwater County, but also killed all the demon beasts. Wang Ying's face showed a hint of a smile when he looked at the safe Cloudwater County behind him, despite the sorrow on his face and his wound-covered back. The Black Tiger Army could be recruited again, even if they were badly defeated. If Cloudwater County were to be breached and the demon beasts rampage in, causing massive slaughter, the losses would far exceed that of losing a few thousand Black Tiger Army soldiers. "Commander, Lu Yun has chased after the Windflow silver-winged wolf. Shall we send help?" Lu Zhong walked over and asked at this moment. "No need." Wang Yinghu shook his head without hesitation. Handling a 5th rank Windflow silver-winged wolf, one doubt if you could catch up with it. Even if you did, you would only increase casualties. Considering the heavy losses suffered by the Black Tiger Army and less than 100 combat-ready soldiers left, the crisis in Cloudwater County has not yet been completely resolved. Right now, our main task is to clean up the battlefield and make repairs to prevent any unexpected incidents. At this moment, Lu Yun had already tracked the Windflow silver-winged wolf more than 100 miles away. "How dare you mock me? You're seeking death." Lu Yun's eyes were cold, and his aura origin surged, like a thunderbolt darting across the night sky. Under the watchful eyes of everyone, his strength was too restricted. He hadn't even used his breaking extreme and one-strike ensigns. Otherwise, his previous attack could have at least severed the 5th rank demon beast's legs. Lu Yun slightly raised his head and looked at the rapidly moving figure in the sky, with wings flapping continuously. His eyes were burning passionately, his intense killing intent and desire to fight flashing. Fighting this demon beast, which is at least in the middle stage of the 5th rank, would not only validate his strength, but also improve his slaughter conception to another level. He absolutely could not let it go. As for being enraged, that was merely an insignificant reason. I can't let too many people know my real strength, so I must find a more remote place. However, to prevent any accidents, I can't chase too far. As time passed, the crescent moon shrouded in black clouds slowly sank, and the night gradually faded away, with dawn approaching. This place is far enough from Cloudwater County. With that in mind, the vast pure Yang-strong origin burst out like a flood, and the Wind Thunder Manual was fully displayed, increasing his speed once again. stepping fiercely on the giant rock in front of him. The tremendous force crushed the rock to bits. Lu Yun transformed into a purple-red light and soared into the sky, feeling the sudden danger behind. The wind-flow silver winged wolf was greatly alarmed and could no longer flee forward. It had to dodge sideways. Boom! The saber intent slashed horizontally, and it seemed as if half the sky was cut open. The wind and clouds were shaken, and it took a while to restore calm. Lu Yun, who had caught up with the wind-flow silver winged wolf, suddenly turned around. His eyes were radiant, and his long hair danced wildly in the void. Wearing a white star robe, his aura origin and killing intent formed a giant pillar of light reaching up into the sky. Saber intent and killing intent intertwined on his saber, emanating a power to cleave all. Lu Yun stood tall in the vast sky, his aura origin flowing rapidly, resisting against the pressure and gravity around him. An extremely powerful force surged throughout his body, like a mighty river, causing the surrounding void to wobble continuously. The fight has just begun. Where are you going? Gazing at the demonic beast in the air, Lu Yun sneered inwardly. A single strike created a terrifying power, amplified 3 times by his full strength and second-rank saber intent. Even without the power of tearing the sky apart, it could still break the wind and shake the clouds. This was the 4th time Lu Yun had unleashed such strength since breaking through to the transforming origin realm. Previously, outside Cloudwater County, he had only used his White Lotus Flame and had not fully displayed his entire strength. This time, with no outsiders around, he could finally reveal all his power without constraint. Only you dare to chase after me? You're courting death. After seeing that Lu Yun was the only one following, the wind-flow silver winged wolf not only let its guard down, but even became murderous. It had not forgotten its main purpose in emerging from the cloud Dream Mountain range. Boom! The 2 terrifying attacks collided, and the horrifying shockwaves spread like a tide. The surrounding void trembled continuously, causing a terrifying storm as the ground cracked and was shrouded in dust. The wind-flow silver winged wolf was suddenly sent flying, and several pieces of its scale armor, glowing with light, fell off its back. Faint scars appeared, and even the previous wound on its abdomen was torn open again due to the terrifying backlash, with blood dripping from the sky in an arc. Chapter 227, Chapter 227, Chapter 154, 5th Order Monster Annihilated, Late Stage of Yuan Stage _2, Chapter 227, Chapter 154, 5th Order Monster Annihilated, Late Stage of Yuan Stage _2, edited by Bexenville. Seeing a flash of surprise appeared in its eyes, seemingly unable to fathom why the power of the human boy before it has surged so much all of a sudden. If Wang Yinghu were to witness this scene, he would be even more astonished. A seemingly simple strike almost broke through the terrifying defense of the wind-flow silver-winged wolf. Such power was truly frightening. Human boy, your power is indeed commendable, but to restrain me, you have to be gravely injured, even at the threshold of death. Surely that's not the outcome you desire. From the sky above, the wind-flow silver-winged wolf roared in human language, now fully aware that Lu Yun's strength surpassed it. Its killing intent had been thoroughly extinguished, and even replaced by a strong sense of dread. I'd like to see what the final outcome will be. With a cold snort from Lu Yun, his body was enveloped by a bright red murderous aura and a violent thunderous glow, and he instantly disappeared from the spot. A small blue tornado suddenly appeared. At its inception, the tornado was only the size of a fist, akin to a dragon's eye, but moments later, it began to swell incredibly, becoming a massive tornado within the blink of an eye, between heaven and earth, the azure tornado whirled menacingly, forcefully sweeping away the towering trees and boulders off the ground, then grinding them into a sky full of dust. Roar! Facing the rapidly enlarging tornado, Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf let out a deafening roar. Its deep growl echoed throughout heaven and earth. The scales on its body glowed brightly as a wave of monstrous demon energy exploded, forming a pillar of black light that shot straight into the sky. Since it could not be avoided, it had to fight with all its might. In the sky, the massive azure tornado grew larger, and its threat increasingly terrible. Carrying with it the raging gusts, the tornado whirled furiously towards the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf. Everywhere the storm passed, everything was swallowed up, including the terrifying sound waves and the sky-piercing demon energy. Humph! As the storm rolled over, a flash of fierceness crossed the wolf's eyes. With a flap of its wings, a black pillar of light, several feet wide, shot out from its body and raced to clash with the storm. The two attacks, both filled with infinite power, collided in midair, bringing the void to a standstill at the moment of impact. Boom! In the blink of an eye, a sound like rolling thunder rang out. The originally silent void began to ripple, with waves spreading across layers. Bang! The azure tornado and the black light column collided fiercely, both unleashing frightening energy. It continued for more than 10 breaths before the energy showed signs of exhaustion. The moment the destruction caused by the collision occurred, the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf realized something was amiss. Its blood-red eyes swept across the horizon, and the towering demonic energy erupted again, wrapping up its body in a tight barrier. Just then, a flash of lightning suddenly lit up, and Lu Yun abruptly appeared above the right side of the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf. The long knife in his hand swiftly slashed out, sparking brilliantly against the air. Breaking extreme. The moment he cast the fourth stance of Astonishing Wind Saber Manual, Lu Yun's speed suddenly increased by more than 3 times. Gushing out from the white-scale purple gold knife, the blade light formed a curved arc. As Lu Yun's speed became faster and faster, the blade light grew bigger, quickly reaching a length of more than 50 feet, and it was still rapidly elongating. With a slash, the brilliant blade light nearly consumed half of the sky. The sudden blade light filled the eyes of the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf, invoking a massive sense of danger in its heart. Without a moment's hesitation, its stiff body rapidly contracted as the demon energy concentrated to its peak. Its wings spread out, blocking all vital areas of its body from attack. The blade light, with its violent power, engulfed the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf in an instant. Splatter! Those extremely sturdy wings were cut down in an instant, and the boundless blade light swept across the sky, leaving a deep pit hundreds of feet long in the ground. Clang, clang, clang! In midair, the surface of the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf sounded a series of crisp sounds. A figure wrapped in blood-red killing intent and purple thunder, constantly flashing in all directions, relentlessly striking its sturdy body with one strike after another. The fourth stance, Breaking Extreme, of the Astonishing Wind Saber Manual could not only increase the speed 3 times, but it could also triple the attack power. Soon, the scale armor as hard as profound stone began to shatter, falling from the sky. In an instant, the scale armor that provided supreme defense on the body of Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf was completely cut off, and horrific scars littered its body. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. After a dozen breaths, there wasn't a single intact area left on the Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf's body. Even its heart had been pierced thoroughly. The originally overflowing life force finally disappeared completely. Boom! The massive body fell to the ground, causing a fierce rumbling sound. Lu Yun, standing still in midair, glanced lightly at the ruined forest beneath him and the lifeless Wind-Flow Silver-Winged Wolf in the deep pit. After shaking his head slightly, he turned into the glory of the sky and left. The previous intense battle had caused quite a stir, and it would likely attract other human powerhouses. Indeed, flying is convenient, but the consumption is too great. By the time Lu Yun returned to Cloudwater County, less than 30% of his pure yang power remained. Chapter 228, Chapter 228, Chapter 154, Fifth Order Demon Beast Annihilated, Late Stage of Transforming Origin, Realm _3, Chapter 228, Chapter 154, Fifth Order Demon Beast Annihilated, Late Stage of Transforming Origin, Realm _3, edited by Bexenville. CM, little brother Lu Yun. As soon as he entered the city, Wang Yinghu came to greet him, followed by Jiang Hongji, Lu Zhong, and others. It doesn't matter if you didn't catch it, the Wind Flow Silver Winged Wolf itself has a terrifying defense, and being able to fly makes it more difficult than other fifth-rank demon beasts. Seeing Lu Yun return safely, Wang Yinghu and the others clearly breathed a sigh of relief. Lu Yun's pure yang strong origin still had about 30% remaining, and his body was completely intact, without a single trace of injury. It didn't look like he had fought with a fifth-rank demon beast, so they assumed that Lu Yun had given up the chase midway and returned. In response, Lu Yun just nodded lightly, not offering any explanation. Due to the heavy losses and the unclear current situation, Cloudwater County was still under martial law, and no celebratory banquet was held. At this time, the sky was still dim, and Lu Yun casually found a restaurant to start restoring his aura origin. After spending 6 hours, his aura finally recovered to its peak state. In order to freely fly through the sky without any restraint, one must advance to the Golden Body realm. Otherwise, the consumption is just too great. If it weren't for forcibly soaring into the sky for a battle and flying afterward, the consumption of pure yang strong origin would definitely not have been so terrifying. The amount of Lu Yun's aura origin was more than 10 times that of a martial artist of the same level. Moreover, the quality of each strand of pure yang strong origin was far superior to other true origins. Even so, there was less than 30% left in the end, which demonstrated the horrifying consumption of flying. However, after this battle, my slaughter conception has improved quite a bit. Name, Lu Yun conception, slaughter conception 14%. Killing a 5th-rank mid-phase demon beast. His slaughter conception increased by 6%, a harvest that somewhat surprised Lu Yun. This slaughter conception can be improved through continuous killing and should have a significant connection to the panel. After the battle, the slaughter conception increased from 1st rank 80% to 2nd rank over 10%. Even if Lu Yun were foolish, he could guess the reason. After all, martial arts conception is mainly improved through comprehension. Even slaughter conception is improved by entering a mysterious state during killings and quickly advancing. It was unprecedented for someone like him, who had not gained much comprehension after killing a demon beast, to still be able to advance rapidly. In this case, perhaps I can join the battle in advance. As long as he continued to kill, his slaughter conception could advance rapidly, and demon beasts were undoubtedly the most suitable targets for killing. Moreover, through his battle with the Windflow Silver Winged Wolf, he gained a deeper understanding of his own strength, especially the astonishing Wind Saber Manual's 4th stance, Breaking Extreme. Being able to increase both speed and power by more than 3 times, this technique was nothing short of terrifying and abnormal. Many thoughts raced through Lu Yun's mind. If the astonishing Wind Saber Manual's 4th stance, Breaking Extreme, was so powerful, what about the 5th stance? In addition, the first move of the Life Destruction Saber techniques, One Strike Ensigns, was even more compatible with the slaughter conception. Once fully unleashed, how much would his strength soar? With these thoughts in mind, Lu Yun became more determined to join the battle and quickly improve his martial arts conception through killing. Killing and alchemy, as long as these two aspects progress together, my strength will be able to improve rapidly. Concentrating his mind, Lu Yun took out the alchemy furnace and the spirit herbs needed to refine the three-striped azure spirit pill from his sumi bag. These spirit herbs were left over from when he took the 4th grade alchemist assessment at the Ling Province Alchemist Guild headquarters. In addition, there was a batch of pills with a success rate of 7%. This alchemy furnace is rather low level. At most, it can only refine 5 top-quality pills. The quality of the alchemy furnace also determined the quality of the refined pills. And with such a low-level alchemy furnace, if used by another lower-level alchemist to refine 3rd-grade pills, it would be their limit. If they wanted to force it to refine 4th-grade pills, it could result in a destroyed furnace and wasted pills with just a moment of carelessness. Even for Lu Yun, a highly skilled alchemist, the limit was only refining ordinary 4th-grade pills. The final product would not be of high quality, only reaching about 70 to 80% of his usual refining success. A white flame burned furiously, and one after another, the spirit herbs were purified through refinement. It took nearly 2 hours before the pills were finally completed. As I thought, only 5 pills have reached top quality. Lu Yun looked at the freshly made pills and remained calm. For a batch of pills, not only did it take almost twice the time, but the quality had also greatly decreased. And this was when he had concentrated all his attention. When I get the chance, I need to get a better alchemy furnace. After putting away the alchemy furnace, Lu Yun began to refine the pills. There were a total of 20 pills in the 2 furnaces, including 12 of top-quality pills. Pure, yang strong origin surged, completely covering the pills, and the room was filled with a flickering golden light. Plus 4360 energy value. With a calm mind, the panel appeared. Name: Lu Yun Power. Flying Spirit Martial Academy Cultivation Technique. Pure Yang Martial Cannon Transforming Origin Chapter. Small Achievement 63%. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual 4th Layer. Breaking Extreme 100%. Life Destruction Saber Techniques 1st Layer. One Strike Ensigns 100%. Wind Thunder Manual 1st Layer. Chasing Wind and Pursuing Lightning 100%. Innate Talent 7 stars. Martial Arts. Mid-Transforming Origin Realm. Energy Value 4,452. Automatically increases by 2 each day. Conception. Slaughter Conception. 2nd rank 14%. Skill. Level 4 Alchemy Technique 82%. Talent. White Lotus Flame. 3rd grade 1%. Then, Lu Yun looked at the detailed description of each cultivation technique one by one. Pure Yang Martial Cannon Origin Transformation Chapter. Small achievement level. With every 60 energy points, progress increases by 1%. Astonishing Wind Saber Manual. 4th Layer. Breaking Extreme 100%. Currently 5th Layer. Destruction 0%. Every 125 energy points, increase progress by 1%. Life Destruction Saber Techniques. 1st Layer. One Strike Ensigns 100%. Currently 2nd Layer. Unparalleled Blood Blade 0%. Every 150 energy points, increase progress by 1%. Wind Thunder Manual. 1st Layer. Chasing Wind and Pursuing Lightning 100%. Currently 2nd Layer. 3,000 Thunder Movement 0%. Every 120 energy points, increase progress by 1%. Slaughter Conception. Currently 2nd rank 14%. 150 energy points, increase progress by 1%. Alchemy Technique. Currently level 4 82%. 100 energy points, increase progress by 1%. White Lotus Flame. Currently 3rd grade 1%. Every 80 energy points, increase progress by 1%. Every item needed a large amount of energy points to improve. A comprehensive enhancement would require an even larger amount of energy points. At present, the panel only had 4,452 energy points, so they needed to be used at crucial moments. My current saber technique is enough for use. The alchemy technique and spiritual fire don't need to be upgraded for now. The slaughter conception can be improved by killing demon beasts. What is limiting my strength now is my cultivation base and body technique. So, the greatest improvement needs to be made in the pure Yang martial arts canon and Wind Thunder manual. However, the benefits of improving the pure Yang martial arts canon are better. After some thought, Lu Yun made a decision. Consumed 2,400 energy points. Pure Yang martial canon transforming origin chapter increased to 1% great accomplishment. It was at this moment that all the pores on Lu Yun's body opened, and the surrounding heavenly and earthly spiritual chi swept in, madly pouring into his body. It flowed through his meridians, and after entering the Dantian, it quickly transformed into pure Yang strong origin. What a terrifying wave of spiritual energy! Wang Yinghu furrowed his brows slightly after sensing the agitated spiritual energy in the air. Lu Zhong also noticed the anomaly and looked at the direction where the spiritual energy was surging. "Commander, that seems to be the inn where Lu Yun is staying." Hearing that, Wang Yinghu ordered, "You personally lead a team of Black Tiger Army to surround that inn. Don't let anyone disturb Lu Yun." "Yes, Commander." The turmoil of the heavenly and earthly spiritual chi completely alarmed the people in the city, but no one dared to approach. It lasted for half an hour before the spiritual energy fluctuations slowly subsided. Name: Lu Yun Cultivation Technique, Pure Yang Martial Canon, Transforming Origin Chapter, Great Accomplishment 1%. Martial Arts, Late Transforming Origin Realm, Energy Value, 2052, automatically increases by 2 each day. Chapter 229, Chapter 229, Chapter 155, 3,000 Thunder Movement. Chapter 229, Chapter 155, 3,000 Thunder Movement added by Bexenville. CM A breakthrough requires the absorption of the heavenly and earthly spiritual chi, which is inevitable. However, it was somewhat surprising to Lu Yun that the accumulation of the aura origin took nearly an hour. He sank his mind into his Dantian. The golden, pure, Yang strong origin was heavy and domineering, like the halo of the sun, too intense for direct viewing. Now, I have reached the late stage of my cultivation, and the strong origin occupies nearly half of my Dantian. Once I make a breakthrough to perfection, one should be able to achieve complete perfection. Withdrawing his focus, Lu Yun redirected his attention back to the panel. The great accomplishment level of the Transforming Origin chapter requires 80 energy points to raise 1 progress. The remaining energy, even if all placed into the Transforming Origin chapter, cannot elevate it to perfection. Therefore, the increase in power isn't substantial. The Wind Thunder manual of the first layer is considered top-notch among the Transforming Origin realm or the 4th rank demon beasts. However, it's slightly inadequate against those excelling in speed. Comprehensive strength depends on battle experience, aura origin, speed, as well as saber technique and martial arts conception. At present, my speed is a weak point. At this moment, Lu Yun already had a plan for the use of remaining energy points. Expended 2,000 energy points. The second layer of the Wind Thunder manual, 3,000 Thunder movement, increased to 16%. In an instant, an image suddenly surged into his mind. The sky was silent, without the hint of any breath. A young man in a gray robe slowly appeared. Simultaneously, it seemed as if he discovered something. A faint streak of thunderbolt passed by, causing ripples to appear between Arachi heaven and the earth. Immediately after, the gray-robed young man shot into the sky. Thunders appeared intricately around him, and interwoven lightning illuminated the silent world into a purple one. With his movement, 3,000 thunders followed, trembling. This is the 3,000 thunder movement. Lu Yun's eyes suddenly opened. A faint arc of electricity flickered within. Thunderbolts symbolize violence, destruction, and extreme speed. The 3,000 thunder movement is not just a simple movement technique. It is also a method of attack. With a slight movement of his fingertips, a flash of an electric arc appeared. Have I mastered the power of thunder? Lu Yun couldn't be completely sure, but judging from the thunder arc at his fingertips and the description of the 3,000 thunder movement in the panel, it indeed seemed so. Immersed in his spiritual focus, he could feel various violent elements in his body, present in all parts of his flesh, and could be condensed instantaneously at a thought. Sizzle. A white flame rose from his right hand, wanting to evaporate the air with its intense heat. Its holy light cleansed all impurity. Following that, his left hand stretched out, emitting a weak purple light flicker, a deafening thunderbolt, exuding violence and destructive power. Control spiritual fire with my right hand and thunder with my left hand. Seems like an excellent combination. Lu Yun closed his eyes, savoring the flow of violent factors within his body, feeling the two different forces on his hands. After a while, he reopened his eyes with a faint smile on his face. The successful cultivation of 3,000 thunder movement granted him control over the power of thunder. This was an unexpected joy. The only shortcoming was that his present thunder power was relatively weak compared to the spiritual fire. The horrifying power of thunder would only be unleashed when he executed the 3,000 thunder movement. Glancing outside through the window, it was already approaching the afternoon. Brother Lu Yun, have you had a successful breakthrough? Just when he stepped out of the restaurant, a surprised voice rose from his side, with a hint of cheerfulness. Lu Yun turned his head to see Lu Zhong approaching, followed by several members of the Black Tiger Army. Have you been here all this time? Although the injuries on the other party had been treated, from their faces and eyes, it was clear that they were very tired. Apparently, they had not rested after a tough battle yesterday. Upon hearing this, Lu Zhong laughed and said, "Yesterday's battle would have been lost without your aid. You saved our lives in the Black Tiger Army. Now, we can only do some trivial things to repay your life-saving grace." "Captain Lu, you're being too polite. I was here for a martial academy task. Slaying demon beasts is my duty." Lu Yun waved his hand, speaking nonchalantly. Then he glanced at the street, which had returned to its usual hustle, asking, "Has Cloudwater County overcome the crisis now?" "We received news that all the demon beasts in the Spirit Martial Prefecture are currently gathering at the Eastfield Giant City and the Great Wilderness Major City. The crisis in Cloudwater County is over. However, there are still runaway demon beasts. Wang Juanhao and I stayed back, responsible for restructuring the battered Black Tiger Army and getting rid of escaped demon beasts. Meanwhile, Commander Wang leads Sunda and 50 men of the Black Tiger Army to give backup at the nearest Great Wilderness Major City. Are there beasts running loose?" Lu Yun's eyes flickered. When the Windflow silver-winged wolf fled, the beasts lost their leader and scattered. The heavy losses suffered by the Black Liger Army left us unable to chase every one of them, leading to the escape of 20 to 30 beasts. Judging from Lu Zhong's expression, it seemed he wasn't particularly concerned about these escaped demon beasts, which puzzled Lu Yun. The escaping beasts are all second rank or lower. Since they fled in different directions, even if they reach some villages, they won't pose much of a threat. Instead, they may help hone other martial artists. In fact, a similar situation happens in almost every invasion. As long as a large number of demon beasts, causing massive loss of tens of thousands, aren't involved, the army won't easily mobilize. Other martial artists or the government will handle it. Chapter 230, Chapter 230, Chapter 155, 3,000 Thunder Movement. Chapter 230, Chapter 155, 3,000 Thunder Movement. Edited by Bexenville. CM, so that's how it is. Only then did Lu Yun understand why there were demon beasts in every county, finally getting a clear explanation from Lu Zhong. Upon careful thought, it indeed seemed to be the case. An overly comfortable environment could easily make some people forget the current predicament of Morijin, and only by facing various pressures could it better stimulate a sense of crisis in people's hearts. Brother Lu Yun, what do you plan to do next? Seeming to realize that his question might be inappropriate, Lu Zhong quickly added another sentence. Before he left, Commander Wang asked me to tell Brother Lu a message, that he will report your merits truthfully, and at that time, you should receive some substantial rewards. Upon hearing this, Lu Yun was somewhat moved. However, he knew that it might not be so simple and glanced at Lu Zhong, who seemed hesitant to speak, and asked, "Is there any hidden problem behind this?" Because Brother Lu Yun is not a member of the Black Tiger Army, the procedures are a bit troublesome and will take a longer time. As he said this, his eyes shifted. Commander Wang said that if Brother Lu Yun is willing to join the Black Tiger Army, everything will become simpler. And he also promises that he will try to get you a commander's position. After saying this, he looked at Lu Yun expectantly. Lu Yun's talent and strength were undeniably clear. If he were to join the Black Tiger Army, it would undoubtedly add strength to their ranks. One won't join the Black Tiger Army. I won't be staying in Spirit Martial Prefecture for too long. Without much thought, Lu Yun decisively refused. The Black Tiger Army was the strongest force in Spirit Martial Prefecture, and if Lu Yun were to join them, his strength and progress would soon make him a high-ranking member within the Black Tiger Army. But as he just said, he was not destined to stay in Spirit Martial Prefecture for long. So joining the Black Tiger Army would be meaningless. Lu Zhong was slightly disappointed and sighed. Before, Commander Wang had already said that the possibility of you joining the Black Tiger Army was not great, but I still wanted to give it a try. It seems that one was wishful thinking. However, Brother Lu, you were already able to contend with a 5th-rank demon beast, and now your strength has made a breakthrough. I beg you to rush to help the great wilderness major city. Lu Yun nodded. I will go to the great wilderness major city, but before that, I have other things to do, so I will take my leave first. With a salute, Lu Yun bid farewell and left. Lu Zhong stood in place, calming his emotions for a while, before glancing at the tavern again, and leaving with 2 members of the Black Tiger Army. This time he resolved the crisis in Cloudwater County, but it did not mean that all the future troubles were eliminated. Lu Yun bought a bunch of spirit herbs and hurried towards Spirit Creek Village. What used to take almost half a day now only took a little over an hour. Spirit Creek Village was still quiet and peaceful, without any disturbances. Upon entering the village, he saw a group of people led by Lu Tianhu. Lu Yun, you're back. I just happened to pass by, so one came to take a look. As he spoke, Lu Yun's eyes fell on the people behind Lu Tianhu, who were both male and female, all of them very young. They were not of age, their steps were unsteady, and their vitality was weak, without any martial arts foundation. However, this was quite normal, as these boys and girls were very young and had not yet begun to learn martial arts. The best age to practice martial arts is around 8 or 9, and Lu Yun was quite aware of this. If the body is not fully developed, practicing martial arts too early will only damage the body and harm its foundation. Did you take Uncle Meng's job? Ha! No, there are now more people in the village, and more people need to practice martial arts. and Uncle Meng can't handle it all by himself, so I'm helping out. All right, you can go ahead with your work. I have to leave. Take care." With a slight smile, Lu Yun stepped away. However, before leaving, he took another look at these young boys and girls. At a rough glance, there were more than 20 of these young martial arts practitioners, quite a large number. He wasn't sure, however, how many of these 20-plus people would eventually achieve the Meridian Passage realm. As for the true Qi realm, honestly speaking, Lu Yun didn't hold high expectations for that. To advance to the true Qi realm, one must have at least a level 2 innate talent. As for those with a 1-star innate talent, it would be almost impossible without experiencing life and death struggles. After Lu Yun left, someone in the team couldn't help but ask, "Brother Tianhu, who was that just now? He doesn't seem to be much older than us." On hearing this, the smile on Lu Tianhe's face disappeared and became somewhat complicated, making him look somewhat desolate. Seeing this, the others became even more curious, as Lu Tianhu was usually optimistic and open-minded, with a constant smile on his face when instructing them. They didn't know why such a sunny brother Tianhu would suddenly change like this. Just as everyone was puzzled, Lu Tianhe's quiet voice rang out. 2 years ago, a group of bandits attacked Cloudwater County, and Uncle Meng, deputy village chief, and old village head tried their best to fight them off but couldn't succeed. Just when Spirit Creek Village was about to be destroyed, a man appeared out of nowhere. With his own strength, he killed nearly 100 elite bandits and ultimately saved the entire Spirit Creek Village. As he said this, the complexity in his eyes disappeared, and a smile reappeared on his face. "I believe some of you should know who he is." Upon hearing this, apart from a few people, most of the others were confused. The near disaster that occurred 2 years ago did not bring much catastrophe to Spirit Creek Village, and these children did not feel the danger. They only occasionally heard their elders mention it, and the specific details were not well known. Chapter 231, Chapter 231, Chapter 155, 3000 Thunder Movement 3. Chapter 231, Chapter 155, 3000 Thunder Movement 3 did by Bexenville. CM, Brother Tianhu, did you say that young man just now is our Spirit Creek Village's most amazing prodigy, Lu Yun, who once saved the villagers of Spirit Creek Village from the bandits' blades? A rather calm and composed-looking youngster couldn't keep his face straight any longer as he asked out loud. His parents often mentioned Lu Yun, and he had frequently heard about the events from 2 years ago as well. Others might not know who Lu Yun was, but his name was well known to them. "It seems you have some knowledge." That's right, he is Lu Yun, the most amazing prodigy of our Spirit Creek Village, and also our village's hero. Lu Tianhu glanced at the youth, his gaze softening a great deal. Compared to other forgetful people, he preferred those who remember the past. Receiving Lu Tianhe's praise, the young man felt a bit awkward, but quickly recovered. He turned back to look at Lu Yun's retreating figure, but he had already disappeared. "Among you, perhaps some will leave Spirit Creek Village and become powerful martial artists in the future, but I hope you will not forget that this place is your root and the pure land where you grew up. When this pure land is in crisis, one hope you can put aside all other matters and come to help overcome the difficulties, just like Lu Yun did 2 years ago when he saved Spirit Creek Village." Even after walking quite a distance, Lu Yun could still hear Lu Tianhe's voice, and couldn't help but reveal a bitter smile on his face. If they knew the disaster 2 years ago was caused by him. Soon, Lu Yun arrived at the small courtyard, which he remembered but also found somewhat unfamiliar. Has it been expanded and renovated? When he left back then, he had left behind some silvertails. It seemed his eldest brother and sister had used that money to expand the house on the original foundation. The courtyard gate was tightly closed. After knocking several times, and still no one answering, Lu Yun vaulted in, comparing the layout of the rooms to before. Besides the traces of renovation in the main room, there were also 2 separate wing rooms added on both left and right sides. Seeing that no one was around, and the door was tightly shut, Lu Yun immediately took out his alchemy furnace and the spirit herbs he purchased in the county town, and began refining pills in the courtyard. As evening approached, eldest brother Lu He and elder sister Lu Yu returned almost at the same time. Upon opening the door and seeing Lu Yun refining pills in the courtyard, they both were shocked, and then quickly broke into smiles. Xiaoyun, eldest brother, eldest sister, please wait a moment. Lu Yun looked up at the two, smiled faintly, and continued to manipulate the spiritual fire to refine his pills. All right, then I'll go cook. Lu Yu smiled sweetly, hung the clothes in the basin in the courtyard, then went into the kitchen to get busy. As for Lu He went to another corner of the courtyard to practice his saber technique. Over the 2 years, his cultivation had remained at the peak of the body tea empering realm. But the black tiger saber technique that Lu Yun taught him had already been refined to the realm of small achievement. It was evident that he had spent a lot of time on his saber skills. When it was nearly dark, Lu Yun finally finished refining all the pills. Eldest brother, come here for a moment. Lu He, who was still practicing his saber, was interrupted by Lu Yun's call. Ha! My cultivation is too low. After just a few swings, I'm already reaching my limit. Lu He put down the saber in his hands, picked up a towel, and wiped the sweat from his body. TC, you've been at the peak of the body-tempering realm for quite some time now. Without external help, I'm afraid it would be difficult to break through to the Meridian Passage realm. Lu Yun smiled slightly, raising his right hand, which held a round pill with a faintly glowing pill pattern on it. This is a high-quality body-tempering pill that I refined, and it has fewer toxins. Hearing this, Lu He's eyes immediately sparkled, staring intently at the pill, which was only slightly larger than a soybean, even his breathing becoming somewhat hurried. As a martial artist, he knew the value of pills. However, in a small place like Spirit Creek Village, no one could afford to use pills, and he hadn't even seen what a pill looked like. Now, there was one right in front of him, and not only that, it was a high-quality pill with a pill pattern. The shock it brought him was undoubtedly enormous. After a long while, he finally regained his composure, took the body-tempering pill with trembling hands, and asked in disbelief, Xiaoyun, is this really a body-tempering pill? Lu Yun nodded with a smile. Yes. This glowing pattern on it is the legendary pill pattern. MHM, then can I really take it? Lu, his voice trembled a bit. I have plenty of these, even higher grade ones. There's nothing special about them. You take it first and see if you can break through. It'll protect your cultivation. Lu Yun said, All right then. After giving his brother a deep look, Lu He opened his mouth and threw the body-tempering pill inside. It seems like nothing happened. At the side, Lu Yun beckoned with his hand, and a saber from the other side flew over, landing in front of Lu He. Eldest brother, don't just stand there. Practice the black tiger saber technique. All right. Lu He grabbed the saber and began practicing the technique. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. With a howling wind, Lu He repeatedly performed the black tiger saber technique in the courtyard. With the energy inside his body aiding him, he didn't get exhausted for a short period of time. Meanwhile, another part of the energy refined his physical body and bones during his practice. It seems like you're still a little off. Let me help you break through. A glint of crimson flashed in Lu Yun's eyes as he suddenly moved, disappearing from his original position. Chapter 232. Chapter 232. Chapter 155. 3000 Thunder Movement _4. Chapter 232. Chapter 155. 3,000 thunder movement _4 did by Bexenville. CM one finger pointed out. The full force was concentrated on this finger. Lu Yu, who was just walking out of the house, had no knowledge of martial arts and was unaware of the power behind this finger. She thought that the two brothers were simply playing and practicing, showing a gentle smile on her pretty face. However, Lu He, who was practicing his saber at the moment, suddenly felt an enormous sense of danger, as if he was being targeted by a powerful killing intent. His heart was filled with a strong sense of crisis. Even though he couldn't believe his younger brother would try to kill him, the strong desire to survive made him instinctively mobilize all his strength to counter this deadly attack. He channeled all his power into his arms. As the life-threatening crisis unfolded, the energy converted from the refinement of the body-tempering pill became incredibly active, constantly washing over his bones and flesh. The saber forcefully collided with the finger. Clang! A crisp sound suddenly rang out, as he felt like his saber had struck the hardest stone in the world. As soon as the thought crossed his mind, the powerful backlash of the collision traveled through the blade and into his arms. With a rumbling noise, he was sent flying backward, crashing heavily to the ground, blood spilling from his mouth. On the other hand, Lu Yin stood casually at his original spot, his pointed finger showing no trace of damage. Witnessing this scene, Lu Yu was completely taken aback, her mouth agape, unable to speak for a long time. After a while, she finally regained her composure. "What were you two doing just now? You nearly scared me to death." Her voice was somewhat cold, as if her mouth was filled with ice. "Ha! My brother and I were just sparring." He slowly got up from the ground, brushed the dust off himself, and laughed somewhat awkwardly. However, there was a strange look in his eyes when he looked at Lu Yun. Just now, he had genuinely experienced a powerful life-and-death crisis. He had never felt such terror before, as if he was being targeted by a murderous god. Cold shivers ran down his spine before quickly spreading throughout his body. Lu Yu, with her hands on her hips and her face still very serious, said coldly, "Is that how you spar? You think I'm a fool? Just now, if Xiaoyan hadn't been strong enough, he would have been injured by your attack." Upon hearing this, He's face couldn't help but stiffen. "Is he your real brother? And am I not your real elder brother?" Besides, he was clearly the victim. However, seeing Lu Yu standing with her hands on her hips and looking angry, he didn't say anything, but he felt extremely wronged in his heart. Yet, when he thought of him going all out against his brother during a life-or-death crisis, the feeling of injustice vanished, replaced by guilt and self-reproach. Nothing could be worse than attacking his own brother with a deadly strike. At this moment, Lu Yun chuckled and said, "Sister, don't blame eldest brother. It's my fault." Seeing that he was close to a breakthrough and just needed a little push, I initiated the gesture to let him experience a life-and-death crisis. In fact, he didn't mention one more thing. He had used the slaughter conception, which had affected He's state of mind. "Is that so?" Even though she still had some doubts, Yes' expression softened slightly. Lu Yun nodded, then turned his gaze to He and mysteriously smiled. "Eldest brother, practice your saber technique once more and see if there is any difference." "Okay." Although he sensed that there might be something more to Lu Yun's words, He didn't hesitate to pick up the saber from the ground and started practicing the black tiger saber technique again. Fierce tiger descends the mountain. A faint saber aura burst forth, accompanied by a howling gust. At this moment, even without further explanation, he could understand what had happened. Did I just break through to the Meridian Passage realm? To verify his thoughts, he didn't stop, but continued practicing his saber technique. Fierce tiger roar. Fierce tiger praise. Each move was smoother and more powerful than the last. Ha! One, He have finally broken through to the Meridian Passage realm. Chapter 233, Chapter 233, Chapter 156, The Return of the White Lotus Cult Seeking Monthly Tickets. Chapter 233, Chapter 156, The Return of the White Lotus Cult Seeking Monthly Tickets, Audiobook by Bexenville. CMI, it was past midnight, and the night was quiet. Despite Rhe moon's light flickering through the clouds, Lu Yun couldn't fall asleep due to his heavy heart. Unable to sleep, he got up to practice his cultivation techniques. His transforming origin chapter had reached great accomplishment, and his progress was barely noticeable during daily cultivation. However, drop by drop, constant effort yielded results. The next day, before dawn, Lu Yun finished his cultivation, leaving behind all the body-tempering pills and meridian pills he had refined the day before. Eldest brother and sister-in-law refused to leave Spirit Creek Village. One can't force them. The only thing one can do is leave these pills behind. Lu He, now having connected his first meridian, was a Meridian Passage realm martial artist. He was considered a top figure in Spirit Creek Village. If possible, he might even break through to the true Qi realm in the future, which was why Lu Yun left him the meridian pills. There were more body-tempering pills, 15 bottles, almost all of which were high quality. This was the cultivation resource he left for Spirit Creek Village. He didn't personally hand them to the village higher-ups, hoping that by contributing them through Lu He could raise his standing. As for Lu Yu, who had no innate talent and didn't like martial arts, the only blessing Lu Yun could give her was a wish for her to live a peaceful life. Not knowing when he would return, Lu Yun didn't say goodbye. He took one last look at the small courtyard and silently left. Great Wilderness Major City was also one of the frontier heavy cities of Spirit Martial Prefecture. The stationed army was no less powerful than that of Eastfield Giant City. Lu Yun's destination was Great Wilderness Major City. First, it was relatively close to Cloudwater County, and with his speed, he could arrive in 3 days at full speed. Second, Wang Ying, who was there, and he could receive some rewards if things went smoothly. However, situations always change rapidly. On Lu Yun's way to provide reinforcement, the atmosphere in Great Wilderness Major City was tense. Black Tiger Army, one of the strongest armies in Spirit Martial Prefecture, was now receiving assistance from all directions due to the invasion of the demon beasts. Close to 150,000 soldiers were stationed here, with more reinforcements arriving from all sides. Now, with hundreds of thousands of demon beasts violently advancing, there had already been more than a dozen fierce battles outside the city. Except for the battle that did not involve 7th-ranked demon beasts and rune seed realm experts, the intensity of the fights was no less than that of the battle in Eastfield Giant City years ago. It was all Rhe more intense. Inside the military camp tent, by now, our army has repelled the demon beast army's 9th attack, but at a heavy cost. As Rhe number of demon beasts gathered grows, so will our pressure. What can we do to garner more powerful reinforcements? A stocky, middle-aged man dressed in heavy armor, with cold and gloomy eyes, asked the other generals inside the tent. Lu Shenjiangle, he was the main general stationed in Great Wilderness Major City. More than 100,000 Black Tiger Army soldiers were under his command. Since Zhuang Zijin became a rune seed realm expert and transferred to Rhe Monster Extermination Army to fight in the endless Great Wilderness, he became the 3rd most powerful figure in the Black Tiger Army's high command. The other generals in the tent also had extraordinary strengths and positions. The lowest among them were commanders with origin fluid realm strength. As for the Black Tiger Army's arrangement, there were captains, commanders, and assistant generals with positions ranging from Zhuiying, Xiaotsui, Dudu, and Tongling to Pianjiang, deputy general, and main general. A commander had at least T-transforming origin realm strength, commanding 10 captains and 1,000 soldiers. A commander-in-chief had origin fluid realm strength, commanding 5 commanders and 5,000 soldiers. And an assistant general had to be AR least in the late stage of the origin fluid realm, commanding 10,000 soldiers. Now, besides Lu Yongsheng, there was another golden body realm expert in the tent, Huang Sheng, one of the most powerful deputy generals in the Black Tiger Army, was Lu Shengyong's right-hand man. He drained the wine in his cup and loudly said, "Given the current situation, East Field Giant City is under the greatest pressure. Even the kings from the depths of Cloud Dream Mountain Range have personally taken action. Our support from other Black Tiger armies in other regions is unlikely to come. However, the news of the demon beast's large-scale invasion has reached the Central Province Court. As long as we persevere for a few more days, reinforcements from other places will arrive." Another assistant general continued, "The strongest armies in the surrounding prefectures are our Black Tiger Army, the Arakiran Army, and the White Rhino Army. However, the armies of other counties are weaker, suitable for deterring aristocratic families, but not for fighting demon beasts. Moreover, we must also guard against evil cults and demon sects inciting chaos, and cannot easily send troops, evil cults, and demon sects." As these words were mentioned, the atmosphere seemed to stagnate for a moment. Deep disgust and killing intent filled each general's eyes. If it weren't for these evil cults and demon sects, Meridian's main forces could be used to conquer the great wilderness and expand its territory. Sensing the heavy atmosphere in the tent, Wang Ying's eyes gleamed and said, "We may be able to request assistance from Flying Spirit Martial Academy and other martial academies Heavenly Pride in the surrounding prefectures. Not long ago, when I was fighting against demon beasts in Cloudwater County, one received support from one of Flying Spirit Martial Academy's Heavenly Prides. Eventually, we turned the tide of the battle. Not only did we save Cloudwater County, but we also nearly annihilated the demon beast army. The most powerful Heavenly Prides from these martial academies have already entered the endless great wilderness. Those remaining in the martial academies, whose strength is most likely only at transforming origin, cannot help us repel the demon beasts. Even if there is one or two with strength comparable to the fifth realm, it won't have much impact on the overall situation." A general at the beginning of the origin fluid realm shook his head slightly. Upon hearing this, Wang Yinghu glanced at the man with disdain. Chapter 234, Chapter 234, Chapter 156, The White Lotus Sect Reappears, Seeking Monthly Tickets, _2, Chapter 234, Chapter 156, The White Lotus Sect Reappears, Seeking Monthly Tickets, _2 edited by Bexenville. CMS for Lu Yun's strength, he knew it best. To be able to reverse the battlefield and hunt down the wind-flow silver-winged wolf. It was not as simple as merely being comparable to the fifth realm. Sitting in the main seat, Lu Shengyong glanced sharply at the generals below, his eyes as sharp as knives. In the coming days, there will be a constant stream of martial artists coming to support us, but in terms of our needs, we lack higher-level combat power. Asking for assistance from other martial academies is a good idea. However, a while ago, Commander Chu was ordered by the Yuan Emperor to lead General of Western Border and go to the front lines, suppressing the demon beasts in the 100,000 mountains and sweeping away the western wilderness. A few days ago, the general opened a battlefield in the narrow line sky, and now the elites of all the martial academies are responding to the order, rushing to narrow line sky, and our request for help may not have much result. However, we still have to try. Anyway, if we can get a group of Fourth Realm powerhouses to support us, it would greatly ease the pressure on the great wilderness major city. Upon saying this, he paused slightly and looked at a middle-aged man in a scholar's attire sitting next to him. Relying solely on the Black Tiger Army, it is more challenging to defend the great wilderness major city. You should draft a wartime rewards system, and reward those who kill demon beasts, whether they are soldiers of the Black Tiger Army or other martial artists. The middle-aged scholar saluted. Please rest assured, General, I will have the wartime reward system ready by tomorrow morning. Drinking all the wine in the cup and then smashing it on the ground, the sudden noise startled every general in the tent and woke them up. Yuchi Jing, Feng Yu, tonight you two will be responsible for guarding the city wall. The rest of you go back to rest, raise your ability to peak condition, and be ready for the upcoming battles. For less than 5 days, they've gone through 9 intense battles in a row, and every one of them is both physically and mentally exhausted. Of course, the demon beasts also had a hard time. Suddenly, someone rushed in from outside. General, the demon beasts have begun their attack again, and they are now only 10 miles away from the city wall. This soon? Lu Xingyong raised his eyebrows, a shadow of gloom crossed his face, and a strong killing intent emerged. Send my order. All troops prepare for battle. As the words fell, every general, except for the middle-aged scholar, picked up their war blades and rushed towards the city wall. Lu Yun had just left the Cloudwater County, and the identity token around his waist trembled slightly. A message? He took out the token immediately, and a message appeared on it. Mission content. Some disciples have been hunted down by White Lotus sect forces. Go and support them. Mission level. Top-level black rank. Reward for completing the mission. 10,000 contribution points. Note, there may be 2 or more martial artists in the origin fluid realm. Please be cautious and protect yourself as the main priority. Without any hesitation, Lu Yun decisively accepted the mission. It was a mandatory mission, and he had no choice but to accept it. There are 2 or more origin fluid realm martial artists, but it's only a black rank mission. Lu Yun's eyes narrowed. Although the mission level is the same, this mission is different from supporting Cloudwater County City. Supporting Cloudwater County City means helping the army resist the demon beast's attacks. However, for this rescue mission, they may have to face several origin fluid realm powerhouses directly. Considering the difficulty level, it should at least be an Earth rank mission. If I'm not mistaken, I'm probably not the only one who received this mission. But I'm closer to Harvest County, and if one can complete this mission alone, the final reward might be even higher. After personally killing the Windflow Silver Winged Wolf of the 5th rank, Lu Yun further knew the limit of his own strength. Later, after his cultivation broke through and reached the late stage of the transforming origin realm, his strength was even stronger than when he fought the Windflow Silver Winged Wolf. Now, even if he faced a peak origin fluid realm powerhouse, he was confident enough to fight. With such strength, it should not be difficult to complete this rescue mission. Thinking of this, Lu Yun turned and headed in another direction at a rapid pace. Damn! Qin Yun spat out blood-stained saliva and couldn't help cursing as he listened to the movement outside the door. He had forgotten how many curses he had uttered since he came to Harvest County. It's all Meng Hongfei's fault. He insisted on accepting this mission, and now we've ended up in the enemy's lair. He and Meng Hongfei were both members of the Sky Patrol office, and they had accepted the mission to investigate the death of the county warden in Harvest County. At first, both of them hadn't taken it seriously. After all, both were close to the peak of the transforming origin realm, and they were considered powerful in Spirit Martial Prefecture. Completing such a small mission was like playing a game. But when they actually entered Harvest County, they sensed that something was wrong. The 2 of them went straight to the county government office, where they were surrounded by people from the White Lotus sect. However, relying on their strength, they didn't care too much. But when they finally clashed, they found out that the opponent actually had origin fluid realm powerhouses, and not just one. Left with no choice, the 2 were outnumbered and had to flee separately. Luckily, the opponents didn't care much at first. Otherwise, they might not have been able to get away. As for why they didn't escape, the reason is simple: he was injured now, and his strength could only emit 30% to 40% of his usual power. Leaving the shelter would mean getting spotted and beaten to death. Mr. Qin, we finally escaped that disaster. Captain Zhang of the county government office had a panic-stricken expression on his face. All the high-ranking members of the entire county government office had either submitted to the White Lotus sect or died under their blades. Chapter 235. Chapter 235. Chapter 156. The reappearance of White Lotus sect requesting monthly tickets. _3. Chapter 235. Chapter 156. The reappearance of White Lotus sect requesting monthly tickets. _3. Edited by Bexenville. CM so far, he was the only one who had survived. This was because his status was not very high, and he was not taken seriously by the White Lotus sect, so he was lucky enough to escape with his life. Qin Yun glanced at him and shook his head. Whether we can survive or not, it's up to fate now. If we're lucky and a strong senior brother or colleague is nearby, perhaps we might live. If not, his face looked somewhat helpless. It would take at least several days for reinforcements to arrive from either the Sky Patrol office or the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. Now, the White Lotus sect was everywhere in Harvest County, and it was questionable if they could even hold on for a day. Doesn't that mean we're doomed? Captain Wang's face turned pale. He was the last of the Zhang family. Up to this point, he was still a virgin without a son to continue the family line. If he died now, the old Zhang family would be cut off. Leaving a legacy or not was one issue. Primarily, he was afraid of death. Don't worry, they won't find us in a short time. Just hold on a little longer. Once my injuries have healed enough, maybe we'll have a chance to escape. Compared to Captain Wang, Qin Yun was much calmer. After all, he was Heavenly Pride of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy and a second-level Sky Patrol guard. Captain Wang was still as pessimistic as ever, and worriedly said, "Most of the families in Harvest County have been controlled by the White Lotus sect. If they mobilize all their forces to search for us, we may not be able to hide for long." In that case, it's indeed troublesome. Just then, Qin Yun's voice suddenly stopped, raising a finger to signal Captain Zhang not to make any noise. Captain Zhang also seemed to sense something and quickly held his breath, not even daring to gasp for air. Soon after, the room they were in became deathly silent as they listened carefully to the sounds outside. Footsteps were constantly approaching from the street, and judging from the sounds, there seemed to be quite a few people. Moreover, there were continuous sounds of doors and windows being opened. Not good. They are searching the rooms one by one. Qin Yun's face turned grim. Standing beside him, Captain Zhang's face became even uglier. If they searched every room one by one, they would soon be discovered. These guys are really treacherous, betraying their own people. If it were not for the protection of the court, they would have long become food for demon beasts. Now, they are actually helping these evil cult forces that collude with demon beasts. They deserve to die. Qin Yun's face also turned ugly at this time. He was still seriously injured and could barely handle ordinary transforming origin realm martial artists. If he encountered a powerful enemy or was surrounded, the situation would become troublesome. However, he had encountered such critical situations many times and could still remain calm, thinking about countermeasures. Judging from the footsteps, there are at least 20 people outside. They have uneven and weak steps, so they should all be low-level martial artists. At the very least, there are no true Qi realm counterparts. If Captain Zhang and I strike together, we can instantly kill them, but forcibly striking out will aggravate my severe injuries. As he thought about it, the worry between his brows grew thicker. It's all Meng Hongfei's fault. There are so many tasks he could take, but he had to take this one. Next time, I want team up and play with him. He found that ever since he teamed up with Meng Hongfei, he had not encountered any good fortune, and they always ended up in a miserable state. Lord Qin, they're about to search here. Captain Zhang whispered a reminder. Just wait a moment. Qin Yun said a word, then quickly moved out of the back window, turning into a shadow, and landed on the roof. Crawling on the roof, with his incredible vision, he quickly scanned the surroundings. He saw that the streets around were filled with teams searching from house to house, with the dark, faintly powerful auras were lurking around. A moment later, Qin Yun returned to the room. Lord Qin, how is it? Captain Zhang's hand, gripping the knife, trembled, betraying his tense mood. Qin Yun whispered, the surroundings are already surrounded, and the encirclement is continuously shrinking. We are no longer safe. What should we do? At this point, we can only split up and run, hoping to gain a chance for survival. Seeing that Captain Zhang was still very tense, Qin Yun added, don't worry, their main target is me. If we split up, your chances of survival will be greater. Wait for me to go out first, and then lure people away. You come out later. Hearing this, Captain Zhang's face was filled with gratitude and tears. Lord Qin, please be careful. If you are lucky enough to survive and meet someone else, tell them to come to the north of the city. After saying that, Qin Yun charged out of the house first. The sudden commotion instantly attracted the searching gaze of the people outside. He's here. Hurry up. They closed in like they had discovered a treasure. Looking for death. With a swing of the sword, a crescent-like sword light soared across the sky, as if coming from a cold winter. Like falling snow, it congealed into frosty ice cones with fangs and claws, sizzling towards those who had surrounded them from the front. With a series of miserable screams, 7 or 8 bodies lay on the ground. With a flash, Qin Yun quickly disappeared into the night. Crescent moon cold, frost slash. 2 figures wearing black robes descended, glanced at the marks on the ground, and one said, he's heading towards the north of the city, chase. Whiz, whiz. Their speed was very fast, barely inferior to Qin Yun. Without a doubt, these 2 were powerful transforming origin realm experts. Enclosed in the room, Captain Zhang waited for a while. When there was no movement outside on the street, he cautiously crawled out. He glanced in the direction of the North City and muttered quietly, Lord Qin, if I'm lucky enough to survive, I'll name my son Zhang Yun to show my gratitude for your help in luring the enemy away today. Chapter 236, Chapter 236, Chapter 157. Secret Sword, Cold Reflection of 1,000 Autumns, Seeking Monthly Tickets. Chapter 236, Chapter 157. Secret Sword, Cold Reflection of 1,000 Autumns, Seeking Monthly Tickets, edited by Bexenville. CM in Harvest County, the night was pitch black. Captain Zhang felt like crying a bit. He did not expect his luck to be so terrible. Qin Yun made such a commotion, leading the enemies to the north of the city, so he chose the opposite direction, fleeing towards the south. He originally thought that there was a good chance he could escape. However, it turned out that the entire Harvest County was controlled by the White Lotus sect, and even the south gate was completely blocked. Without hesitation, he stayed in place for a while, and then immediately turned around to leave. The group of martial artists guarding the city gate did not pose much threat to him, but another man dressed in black gave him a strong sense of danger. If he were to charge past forcibly, he would undoubtedly die, although the city was dangerous. As long as he was not discovered, there was still a chance for survival. Perhaps due to his terrible luck, when he turned around, he immediately spotted someone. Fuck, when did someone appear here? I just left the team for a moment to relieve myself. The man in black with a black hood exposed a pair of dizzying eyes. His pupils widened. Go to hell. Captain Zhang, who reacted, had a cold light burst in his eyes. The hand holding the saber hilt tightened, and the strength and true chi of his entire body burst out in an instant. The saber was unsheathed, and its ringing sound echoed in the night sky. He slashed out with all his strength, landing directly on the man in black. As a captain, his strength could rank in the top 10 in Harvest County, and killing this man in black was not a big issue. Ollie, a miserable scream sounded, and the man in black was split in half even before he could put away his private parts. Boom! Slashing diagonally downwards, his entire body was cut into 2 halves. At the moment when Captain Zhang unsheathed his saber, the man in black guarding the carriage reacted and looked towards him with their eyes all at once, then charged towards him. Seems like this is where I meet my end. There's no chance of escape, and he no longer wanted to run. Come to die! Captain Zhang shouted angrily, and a nearly 10-foot-long saber light burst out from his saber, cutting one person in half at the waist. His saber technique was ruthless, as if it had been tempered through 1,000 hammers. The other people were frightened by Captain Zhang's fearless posture. They were not even peripheral members of the White Lotus sect, and their strength was limited. They retreated one after another when faced with a fearless, true chi realm martial artist. Humph! A bunch of trash! Get out of my way! A powerful aura erupted and stepped out from the crowd. Dressed in black clothes and a black mask, the man in black was almost completely merged with the night. Only his eyes were visible through the mask. His dark eyes revealed the danger from Devil's Swamp, and the cold gaze was like a newly sharpened knife, causing Captain Zhang to shiver all over. It felt as though his body was being constantly sliced by a knife. The captain's gaze towards his opponent became even more solemn, and he couldn't help but grip the saber hilt tighter, seeking solace from his fear. This guy must be at least at the transforming origin realm. If we have to fight head-on, I might not be able to withstand a single move. What should I do? What should I do? His mind was constantly thinking about countermeasures. Rat, you're lucky to have survived this long. As soon as the words fell, the man in black's aura surged again, turning into a ghostly light, and rushed towards Captain Zhang. With a palm blast, it felt as if mountains and rivers were on the move. The murderous intent sealed all directions. True origin enveloped him, leaving Captain Zhang nowhere to retreat. Since there was no escape, he might as well go out with a bang. Take my saber. Fear disappeared from his face as an overpowering fighting intent burst from his eyes. His muscles bulged, and his strength gathered in his arms. The true chi in his dantian rushed to his long saber like a surging river. Before the saber even swung, the blade light had already begun to erupt. Die! With an angry shout, the long-accumulated power and blade light burst out in an instant. Rumble! The saber felt like it was striking a powerful barrier. The blade light shattered, and the overwhelming power swept across his entire body. Captain Zhang was struck by the palm and flew out, coughing out blood. Too powerful. I don't even have a chance to fight back. Leaning on his saber, kneeling on one knee, Captain Zhang's face was full of despair. As the man in black gradually closed in, he sensed that his life was coming to an end, but he did not regret his past choices. Knowing the consequences, why even bother in the first place? It seemed that the man in black knew Captain Zhang, revealing a trace of contempt in his eyes. As he approached, the true origin in his palm surged, slowly falling on Captain Zhang's forehead. The strong force of repression made it impossible for Captain Zhang to move. However, strangely enough, at this critical moment of life and death, he showed no fear at all. On the contrary, the eyes were filled with a glimpse of hope. Humph! Don't expect anyone to come and save you. A flash of killing intent in the man in black's eyes. The speed of his descending palm suddenly increased, and in the blink of an eye, it was about to fall on Captain Zhang's forehead. But At the very next moment, uffed, in the silent night, a saber light whisked by. With a soft sound, the man in black's arm was severed at the shoulder. Blood sprayed out violently. Before his brain could register the pain, the sound of the blade entering the body rang again. Following the sound, the man in black, with the last bit of energy, looked sideways, only to see a young man in white clothes with a handsome face, his eyes looking at him with a hint of coldness. With shock and fear, his body finally lost its strength and heavily fell to the ground. Chapter 237, Chapter 237, Chapter 157. Secret Sword, Cold Reflection of 1,000 Autumns, Seeking Monthly Tickets. _2, Chapter 237, Chapter 157. Secret Sword, Cold Reflection of 1,000 Autumns, Seeking Monthly Tickets. _2 edited by Bexenville. CM after cultivating and reaching the late stage of the transforming origin realm, Lu Yun's strength greatly increased, especially the enhancement of his slaughter conception and speed. When he exerted his full power with a single slash, it was simply terrifying. When he exploded with power, his strength far exceeded that of the origin fluid realm. Killing a transforming origin realm martial artist naturally took no effort. So powerful. Run. When those who originally surrounded Captain Zhang saw this scene, they were first shocked and then became terrified, with their souls fleeing in panic. Even a transforming origin realm messenger was easily killed in seconds, so these minor shrimps, who couldn't even be considered as peripheral members, dared not to delay and immediately fled. Die! Lu Yun was filled with murderous intent, and a surge of killing intent dispersed, causing the fleeing people to slow down as if they were caught by a giant hand, their bodies trembling all over. Puchi! 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 In just a few breaths' time, more than 10 corpses had covered the ground. As Lu Yun sheathed his sword, his cold eyes fell on Captain Zhang, who had collapsed on the ground. This guy must be mad, wanting to kill even me. Although Captain Zhang was saved, he shivered all over. There was no way around it. Lu Yun's oppressive power was too strong, and coupled with his instant killing of more than a dozen people without even blinking, this aura was simply terrifying. Glancing quickly at Captain Zhang, Lu Yun flicked his long sword. This guy really has gone mad, not even distinguishing between friend and foe. As the long sword filled his vision, Captain Zhang recalled the black-clothed man who had been pierced through earlier, and he was filled with regret. If he had known earlier, he would have clung tightly to Qin Yun's thigh. There might have been a sliver of hope for his survival. However, to his surprise, the long sword didn't strike him. He didn't kill me, and that terrible oppressive force just now has disappeared. I'm not cold anymore. Raising his head, he saw Lu Yun's action, and his eyes suddenly widened. Good guy, so he was searching the bodies, giving me a scare. Having quickly checked the sumi bag in his hand, a slight smile appeared on Lu Yun's face. Compared to his previous demeanor, this smile was like a ray of sunshine in the cold winter, and Captain Zhang felt the chill in his body instantly dissipate. However, he still hadn't completely let down his guard and cautiously asked, 1 a.m. the headhunter of Harvest County, chased by the White Lotus sect. Thanks to your help, I was able to escape with my life. So it is the White Lotus sect. Lu Yun discreetly put away the sumi bag and looked at Captain Zhang. I am a disciple of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy. One have received a mission to rescue people. Tell me, what is the current situation in the city? The situation must be more serious than he had imagined for the White Lotus sect to dare to openly hunt down a county warden. Flying Spirit Martial Academy. A glimmer of joy flashed in Captain Zhang's eyes, and he immediately reported the situation one by one. As it turned out, all the higher-ups in the county government office, apart from the deceased county warden, had joined the White Lotus sect, including the Huang family, the most powerful family in Harvest County, which had secretly become an external force of the White Lotus sect. Almost the entire Harvest County had become the lair of the White Lotus sect. Even a second-level Sky Patrol guard of the Sky Patrol office had been seriously injured and was now trapped in Harvest County. After learning about these situations, Lu Yun's eyebrows furrowed deeply. It was not because he was worried about the powerful enemies in Harvest County, but because he thought of the fact that an entire county had been infiltrated by the White Lotus sect without drawing the attention of the Sky Patrol office. This was the most terrifying aspect. Lu Yun didn't think further. It wasn't something he should be concerned about. As long as he did what he was supposed to do, there would be someone to handle the issue if the sky fell. Since you are the headhunter of Harvest County, you must be familiar with the situation in the city. From now on, you will lead the way for me. I dare not disobey. North of the city, Heavenly Pride of the Flying Spirit Martial Academy, a second-level Sky Patrol guard. The Byak-clothed man's eyes were cold as he looked down on Qin Yun below, while a violent True Origin swirled around his body. This True Origin was far more powerful than ordinary True Origin, and it was clearly the kind of True Origin that only Origin Fluid realm powerhouses could possess. To his left and right, there were also two other black-clothed men, whose breaths were clearly at the peak of the transforming Origin realm. Apart from them, there were several black-clothed men at the early stage of the transforming Origin realm, completely blocking Qin Yun's retreat. One in the Origin Fluid realm, two at the peak of transforming Origin realm, and five at the early stage of transforming Origin realm. Damn, my luck is really terrible. All the people have come to me. Qin Yun was speechless at the turn of events. When he and Meng Hongfei were besieged earlier, there were only two in the Origin Fluid realm, for in the transforming Origin realm, and a bunch of weak True Qi realm opponents. Now, more than 2/3 of the powerful enemies had come to his side. It's so annoying that my strength has only just recovered to 80%, making it a problem for me to deal with even a single Origin Fluid realm peak. So many have come all at once. However, if there are more people on my side, Brother Meng's pressure over there will be much smaller, and he might have a chance to escape and report the situation here to the Sky Patrol office. With that thought, Qin Yun suddenly relaxed a bit. Kill him. As soon as the words of the high-ranking Origin Fluid realm black-clothed man fell, 7 figures immediately moved and rushed towards Qin Yun. Although Qin Yun was only at the later stage of the transforming Origin realm, and his injuries had not recovered, they didn't dare to be careless. Being able to escape from the heavy encirclement, his true strength must be more than just simple on the surface. The 7 black-clothed men, the weakest of which was at the early stage of the transforming Origin realm, and the strongest 2 were at the peak of the transforming Origin realm, charged at Qin Yun with their weapons almost at the same time. Chapter 238, Chapter 238, Chapter 157, Secret Sword, Cold Reflection of 1,000 Autumns, Seeking Monthly Tickets, _3, Chapter 238, Chapter 157, Secret Sword, Cold Reflection of 1,000 Autumns, Seeking Monthly Tickets, _3, Udded by Bexable. CM faced with the power of 7 at once, Qin Yun dare not confront them directly, instead deploying the fleeting light shadow method, nimbly evading their attacks. If I go all out, I might be able to eliminate the few black-clad individuals in the early stages of the transforming Origin realm, but doing so would put me in immediate fatal danger. I won't be able to buy much time. Clang, clang, clang. The ebony long sword collided with the weapons of the black-clad men, with Qin Yun's figure constantly flickering. He was not vying to kill the enemy, but to gain more time. Being attacked by 7 individuals, the pressure is incredibly high, causing his internal injuries to sometimes be triggered by the immense force. The most crucial point was he still had to divert part of his attention to guard against the Origin Fluid realm black-clad man, who had not attacked yet. He was very clear. The reason the other party had not taken action was to prevent him from again using the fleeting light-shadow method to escape. Once he showed the slightest mistake or showed signs of wanting to escape, he would suffer a thunderous blow from the enemy. Hiss, hiss, hiss. In the dark and heavy air of the night, sparks flash from time to time, lighting up the clouds created by the collisions of blades. On the ground and on surrounding buildings, one can see the formation of ice cones. In recent years, his cultivation had not advanced quickly, but his cold sword intent had made a quantum leap, already reaching 30% of the first rank. Sword intent was more potent than common martial arts conception and added more to an attack's power. With this strong sword intent, the black-clad people also dared not attack too aggressively. As it was, Qin Yun was like a turtle in a jar, unable to escape. All they had to do was apply pressure gradually, and when his injuries fully broke out, anyone among them could kill him. While Qin Yun understood their strategy, for him, it already made for the best possible outcome. Brother Meng, one hope you won't disappoint me. With a glint in his eyes, Qin Yun countered an attack with a swing of his sword. Within the blink of an eye, his sword clashed with an incoming long knife. He's quite resilient. One of the black-clad men's faces was shook, but he quickly retreated and sought a new opportunity for attack after his blow failed. While this black-clad man was retreating, other attacks came one after another. Qin Yun was utterly weary, his injuries worsening. Even when he counterattacked, he felt powerless. The little guy is on his last legs. In the dark pupils of one of the black-clad men at the peak of the transforming origin realm, a ruthless intent surged as he invigorated his true origin to its limit, illuminating his weapon. Boom! Layers of knife aura converged into a terrifying blade light, which slashed out in the blink of an eye. The dark night seemed furiously slashed apart in this instance. Now's the time. The opponent guessed it right. He was at his limit, but that didn't mean he had no power to counterattack. Watching the approaching black-clad man, Qin Yun's killing intent surged in his eyes as he used the fleeting light-shadow method, increasing his speed dramatically. At the same time, 30% of the murderous intent at the first rank, along with the true origin reaching the peak of the transforming origin realm, flooded into his long sword in the blink of an eye. In an instant, the temperature in the darkness of the night suddenly dropped drastically, as if it had entered deep winter. The flowing air froze into ice crystals and fell. The might on Qin Yun's body soared to an extreme extent in this split second. Secret sword, cold reflection, thousand autumns. Boom! Amid the profusion of ice crystals, the essence of sword intent intertwined and converged into two substantial sword lights. At the moment these terrifying sword lights emerged, the temperature between heaven and earth plummeted again. The extremely sharp cold sword light slashed towards the approaching black-clad man. The silent world seemed to have been cut apart. What? The black-clad man's face immediately went pale. As the terrifying sword light descended, he felt an intense cold surging toward him, as if an icy world was descending, freezing his body, freezing everything about him. In the face of the impending crisis, he had no choice but to withdraw his knife and defend hastily. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. Where the sword light passed, the world was icy, everything was frozen, then split apart. Bang! A loud noise. The terrifying sword light, far surpassing the level of the transforming origin realm peak, burst down. At the moment of falling, the two sword lights merged into one as if two completely different worlds overlapped, their power escalating once more. This sudden turn of events left the black-clad man defenseless. He felt that the blood in his body was being frozen, and even the mobilization of true origin was becoming extremely difficult. Help me. Unfortunately, all this happened in a flash, and the others could not respond in time to help. In the blink of an eye, the black-clad man was completely frozen, and the glowing long sword pierced through the man's body. After the overwhelming power of one sword, all of Qin Yun's injuries completely broke out, and he could no longer resist the rest of the attacks from his surroundings. Being able to bring one down with me before I die is enough. At this point, he had no strength left for the fight. He couldn't even hold the sword tightly. To remain standing was his last display of resilience. He closed his eyes slowly, quietly waiting for death to come. Clang! Suddenly, a fierce collision sounded, and a young man in a purple robe suddenly appeared, swinging his sword and repelling all the black-clad men. The youth in the purple robe, his sword light shimmering, swung out, the blade like a dragon leaping from the sea, stirred up a gale, packed with the invincible momentum of destruction, instantly killing 2 of the black-clad men. Seeing the suddenly appearing youth in the purple robe, not only were the black-clad men shocked, but even Qin Yun felt it incredible. He even suspected whether the youth had arrived long before, only stepping in to save him when he was on the brink of death. Can't blame him for thinking so. The timing was perfect. Cough. Qin Yun coughed weakly, looking at the youth in the purple robe in front of him with a smile. For one good turn, you risked your life? This youth in the purple robe was Meng Hongfei. He glanced at the Qin Yun beside him, weak beyond words, and said casually, "Remember, you owe me a life." Let's first manage to stay alive before talking about who owes who. Seeing the sudden appearance of Meng Hongfei, the origin fluid realm black-clad man's eyebrows were tightly knitted. Jiang Yufei, this useless woman. Not only did she fail to kill Meng Hongfei, she led him to break through to the peak of the transforming origin realm. Damn it! He cursed as the black-clad man moved. Meng Hongfei, even before his breakthrough, could parry an origin fluid realm expert. Now, having made a breakthrough, his strength is even more terrifying. If he keeps holding back, the rest won't be able to keep him in check. Apart from that, there was another reason. Meng Hongfei appearing here signified he wouldn't escape alone. For him to continue blocking their retreat was no longer meaningful. You had a way to heaven, but you didn't take it. Hell doesn't have a door, yet you barged in. You brought this upon yourself. This time, one won't let you escape. The black-clothed man's eyes were filled with killing intent. The aura of an origin fluid realm powerhouse popped up, peeking. Fai held a blood-red mace in each hand, rushing down in an eerie way. Chapter 239, Chapter 239, Chapter 158, Dual Cultivation of Swords and Blades. Chapter 239, Chapter 158, Dual Cultivation of Swords and Blades uttered by Bexenville. CM, I haven't killed an origin fluid realm martial artist yet. Watching the black-robed man swooping down to attack, Meng Hongfei's intense battle intent soared to the heavens. In the dark night sky, their attacks collided. Clang! The pitch-black, blue-black treasure saber clashed head-on with the blood-red double mace in the black-robed man's hand. Under the terrifying force of the impact, the robes of both men fluttered violently. Origin fluid realm martial artists aren't very strong after all. Defending against the opponent's attack and being struck back several meters, Meng Hongfei slightly narrowed his eyes, his expression somewhat disdainful, seeking death. With boundless killing intent, the blood-red long mace in the black-robed man's hands formed layers of blood clouds. With Qin Yun heavily injured and immobile behind him, Meng Hongfei had no choice but to fight. The best strategy was to anger his opponent, causing them to lose their composure and seize the opportunity in the chaos. However, it seemed the black-robed martial artists didn't give him a chance. As the black-robed man of origin fluid realm attacked, several other black-robed men also joined in. Their goal was simple: to ruthlessly eliminate any hidden threat. In the black night sky, killing intent surged from all directions, leaving no room for Meng Hongfei to break through. Among them, the killing intent from the front was the most terrifying. When the Origin Fluid Realm attacked, each strike had the power to shatter the heavens and earth, let alone their fatal blows. Meng Hongfei, firmly locked on by the killing intent, was well aware of his predicament. The most dangerous moment was also the perfect opportunity had been waiting for. Both hands gripping his saber, the clashing sound suddenly echoed through the night. With a glance at Qin Yun behind him, Meng Hongfei's calm voice sounded. "I have a move called the Myriad Transforming Thousand Lights Slash. Watch closely." As he spoke, Meng Hongfei's aura formed a pillar, shooting straight to the sky. On the pitch-black, blue-black treasure, saber hung in midair. The saber aura suddenly burst forth. Immediately after, his entire body rotated in the air, creating a whirlwind made of saber light. Within the whirlwind, thousands of saber energy erupted, hundreds of saber light flickered. Each beam of saber light concealed a chilling, killing intent. One Origin Fluid Realm martial artist and 6 transforming Origin Realm martial artists attacked simultaneously, not fearing Meng Hongfei, who was at the peak of the transforming Origin Realm. Even if they sensed the terrifying killing intent within his attack, 7 different strengths of attack struck from every direction, colliding with Meng Hongfei's Myriad Transforming Thousand Lights Slash. With a terrifying force, roof tiles and buildings nearby were blown away. Even though Meng Hongfei was powerful, facing the attacks of 7 people at once, he appeared overwhelmed. The saber light shattered one after another. However, the opponents were still barred outside of the battle, unable to penetrate. In other words, this round of confrontation had a winner and a loser. Gaining a slight advantage, Meng Hongfei felt no joy. His face pale, it was clear that using his trump card put a tremendous strain on his current strength. But what could he do? Despite the burden, he had to press on, because this was the only chance for him and Qin Yun to survive. As his rotation continued, the whirlwind of saber light expanded, and the killing intent grew denser. For the moment, the black-robed men were taken aback. All of them, except for the Origin Fluid Realm martial artist, were struck down by the powerful saber light, their bodies flailing helplessly. Just as the crowd was shocked, a faint whistling sound echoed from the whirlwind of saber light. "Watch out!" Not knowing who warned them, the black-robed men quickly backed away. Meng Hongfei, clad in purple, flew out with a saber, crossing the sky and appearing in their sight. They saw him carrying a young man in white clothing, escaping towards a previous gap. Witnessing this scene, the black-robed men finally realized that Meng Hongfei's Myriad Transforming Thousand Light Slash and the final chilling strike were just a diversion. His real goal was to escape. "You useless bunch, what are you standing there for? Catch them!" The black-robed man's leader shouted angrily, pursuing them. With all the exits of Harvest County blocked, he didn't believe the two could escape, with one of them injured. But mocked by the escape, anger surged in his heart like a torrential river. "I must kill him! I must kill him!" The eyes of the black-robed man grew darker, cold, and sinister to the extreme. There were no lights in the gloomy, chilling alley, only the weak shadows cast by the stars and moon, barely illuminating the path ahead. Clutching Qin Yun, Meng Hongfei dashed through the dark and twisting alleyways. "Leave me, and you'll have a chance to escape." Qin Yun's weak voice sounded. Meng Hongfei remained silent, sprinting at top speed. Whenever he encountered an intersection, he turned a corner, randomly zigzagging through the alleyways. Qin Yun was right. If Meng Hongfei were alone, no one could stop him. Not even the 2 Origin Fluid realm black-robed martial artists working together. But how could Meng Hongfei abandon Qingyun? If you continue like this, neither of us will escape. Meng Hongfei still didn't speak, but his grip tightened. Ouch, be gentle. You're hurting me. If you know pain, then talk less. Meng Hongfei sped through the night, swiftly passing through numerous alleyways, disappearing into the shadows. However, the killing intent from behind was getting closer. Even with his knowledge of the area's complex terrain, he couldn't shake off the pursuit. Brother Meng, be careful. As soon as the words fell, a huge palm struck from the sky. A chilling cold froze the surrounding air, and countless ice spikes flew down, covering the dark alleyways.